It's about 503s killing me. You've left me all alone. I still can't sleep, I can hardly breathe. I'm dying on my own. My heart's in pieces, can we just reset everything we've done? It's about 503s killing me, and I'm all alone. It's liquor for the pain, cause nothing was the same when you walked out my life. When you walked out my life. Yeah, we were so amazing, beautiful creation. Gone in the night, yeah, gone in the night. And like a storm, you destroyed my way of life. I cry every time I'm not yours, but you're gone. I guess I'm paying the price, cause I wasted your time. It's about 503s killing me. You've left me all alone. I still can't sleep, I can hardly breathe. I'm dying on my own. My heart's in pieces, can we just reset everything we've done? It's about 503s killing me. I'm all alone, and I know I've lost you. I've lost you, and I know that there's no coming back. So I just stay sad. It's about 503s killing me. You've left me all alone. I still can't sleep, I can hardly breathe. I'm dying on my own. My heart's in pieces, can we just reset everything we've done? It's about 503s killing me, and I'm all alone, 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 alone.
Frederico, we've got him. Ay, fresh off the boat on the dope, yeah. You said you rap, that's a joke, yeah. You hate your life and it shows, yeah. I'm making plays coast to coast, yeah. I keep my moves on the low, ay. iPhone 6-digit code. How I stack up with my bros, yeah. Yeah. Wouldn't you like to know? And I'm back up on the scene, tryna stack up all the cream. Pockets busting at the seams, you don't know what I mean. Get there, I say with my green. I see people tryna scheme. It don't got a red stripe, but you know my flow supreme. Yo, diamonds I need on my wrist, ayy. Nobody sounding like this, ayy. Don't even know how you got to the top. I send you to the abyss, ayy. I shoot shot, don't miss, ayy. I move out with wrist, ayy. All these other rappers probably tryna sound like this, yo. Ayy, where the dope at? Yeah, they shoot at me just like Kodak. Ayy, got a problem, tell them hold that. Just run the city, boy, I thought you know that. How we make a way without a boat? Wait, how? He got all the keys and all the dope. All the dope, tell them keep that respect though. Give me the check though, and I say perfecto. Ayy, got the hustle from my pops, man, I got so many keys, got the whole city on lock. You should worry about yourself, why you staying on my jock? Can't stop, even UPS can't put me in a box, yeah, yeah. Shawty said it's a bop, about to play this in a drop top, cruising down the block, yo. Acting like the man, but we both know that you not. I got hops, watch me ball, hear the swishing with my shot. Wet, me, I'm on top already. Give me that guap, I'm ready. Got drive and ready. Throw cash, confetti. Give me that ice like Yeti. Hate, but they had not met me. But they ain't bringing me down, no. I'm too up right now. Aye, Private meeting, check the door lock. This cool, but my next single is more hot. I did all the shows in my city, I was busy. Yeah, now I'm taking over your block. Ay, where the dope at? Yeah, they shoot at me just like Kodak. Ay, got a problem, tell them hold that. Just run the city, boy, I thought you know that. How we make a way without a boat? Wait, how? He got all the keys and all the dope. All the dope, tell them keep that respect though. Give me the check though, and I say perfecto.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome along to RSC EU. It's our penultimate stream of the week, the second stream of the week, and I'm very excited for some very entertaining Rocket League ahead of us. We go up to the Master Tier first for Gladiators versus Phoenix. It's first versus 8th in the Ignis Conference. I'm Tom Dinner. Alongside me this evening for the first series is, well, surprisingly, Morris Guy. Morris Guy, how are you this evening?
I'm doing good, Tom. We are basically a dynamic duo at this very moment in time. We just vibe with each other now. That's what it is. Apparently people like it, so let's carry on with it. But yeah, anyway, Rocket League. That's what we're here for, and I'm excited to be here because yeah, we top of the table versus a team chasing for the playoffs. So an interesting one ahead.
Yeah, it should be. Here is the table. 41 wins. It's reasonably comfortable with just a couple of series left here for Phoenix. I think it's 3 series left, this being one of them, of course. As for Gladiators, they know that that magical 6th position is not too far away. 28 plays 31 with Illusion sitting there in 6th. It's not going to be easy. However, with the series in hand on Illusion, 4 points today would take them into that playoff spot, or play-in spot, I suppose.
It would indeed, but in front of them, they are going up against the informed team of the Ignis lead at the moment. It is the top of the table, Phoenix, and it's a tough old ask. I mean, yes, Gladiators are looking for that coveted last spot, but ahead of them, as you can see there, they got a dominating force, some might say, and I mean across the board, you know, it's not a case of Phoenix being carried by a single person from what I can see. You know, they are a good, solid team unit and stats across the board for pretty much the entire roster, Tom.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and take a look through the roster for Phoenix. They've got a clear sub. Kartoffler, I should say, played 12 games, 6 goals from there. So it's nice to have that reliable sub that they can rely on if they need to. But what we see actually is a very well-rounded unit with pretty equal contributions throughout the rest of the lineup, with Steb, Bjarni and Usyk, all 3 of them contributing almost the same number of goals. Bjarni sitting there 10 ahead of Usyk, which in Rocket League isn't a great deal of goals over 52 games. So actually, we see a lineup that you can see why they're top of this table. Whereas if we look at Gladiators, on the other hand, they haven't had quite that consistent lineup. Friday and Jazz, later additions to the squad, with Skies and Bossalasa being the only 2 that have actually stuck around from the start of this season. So you can see the difference here between a side that are arguably struggling and just about trying to scrape playoffs, so there's a side who are very well and truly flying into them.
Yeah, indeed. But as we saw yesterday with Fearless Alpha, I mean, the underdogs, you don't want to discount them, and especially if you've, you know, if you're sitting high and pretty at the top of the table, maybe a bit of complacency might play into this a little bit from Phoenix. But it's an interesting one. I think certainly if Gladiators, if they match Phoenix from the get-go, just put them under a little bit of pressure and sort of force them to prove why they're top of the table, then we might see a potential another upset on the cards. But it's a big old arse though, Tom. And I'm a tricky one. This is a tricky one to predict as well. But I'm going to ask you what are you going for in this one?
So I think the Phoenix are going to pick this one up 3-1 this evening. I think top of the table. I don't think they'll get the sweep because I think Gladiators will get one over on them at least once today. But I do think they're going to win. So I've gone with 3-1. What about yourself?
Well, judging by what happened yesterday with Alpha, I'm feeling like this could happen again, and I'm going for a 2-2 draw. Not quite, you know, the underdog story, but certainly if Gladiators can get 2 wins out of it, they'll be up for it because, like, you know, they are just on the cusp of that playoff spot, so they'll be wanting to put in a performance. But I reckon we could see a good old battle on our hands here. So, I mean, I don't know about you, Tom, but I'm itching to get this one underway. So we'll tell the players to go, and we'll see if I can get another result going.
Yeah, well, I'm very excited for this one. It really is crunch time in RSC, and just about Jazz is getting into the lobby right in the nick of time when the 5-second countdown already started. In fact, he's going to get the first touch away for this Gladiators side. They play in the blue, Phoenix in the red. Bossalassa's trying to do some work down this right-hand side. Won't be able to create anything. Skies has to chase it down. On for Jazz, who gets a touch. Jazz not really able to do anything with it, and Phoenix do just about survive for the time being. Though a challenge here from Usyk. Step goes up for it. Jazz able to get the clear.
Yeah, good early signs here for Gladiators, but they got to watch the fundamentals here. A couple of double commits, and you don't want to push too hard too soon. But so far, a good start for them. But Kartoffler can just sort of try and do something fancy from the left-hand side. Didn't quite work out for him, and now Skies just lets the ball run away from him. Jazz, good demo. Needs a few more of those. Just open up some space and give Gladiators a bit of time. Bossalassi! That is how you start a series. What a solo effort out off the ceiling. Beautiful read in the back of the net. Gladiators 1-0.
Just about. I think Gladiators, really, what a flying start. They can't have asked for much better in the first 50 seconds. Here's the kick-off, though it's cheated by both Kartoffler and Bossalassi. Now a chance for Gladiators to get back onto the board. Step able to get it cleared away. Kartoffler now back downfield. Jazz able to get a touch. Kartoffler, of course, is the substitute. His 13th game of the season, this one. Bossalassi now takes a shot, and Usyk is able to get this save once more. And now Kartoffler going to have to chase his one down off of the right-hand side. He goes. Jazz takes it away from him. Into the centre it goes. Steps in a poor position to play this one. So is Bossalassi, though. He does something with it. Skies keeps it alive, and Kartoffler in the end is the only one there to get that one cleared away, which he does. Only to Jazz on the left-hand side, though. He takes a shot. Step able to get the clearance in once more.
This is Gladiators are putting in good solid performance at the moment. Still loads left to play, but that's going to work out nice for them. Jazz hit the ball. No, Jazz, you just had to score. If the net was wide open, 2 attempts, 2 misses, and could that be an opportunity that Gladiators absolutely ruined in the end?
Maybe. Skies goes for it on his own. Jazz looks to make amends, and he does. 2-0 to Gladiators. Well, it seems to be week of the underdogs. This one, early to call this one just about, but Jazz able to tap it home. Skies always nicks the goal. Actually, won't be in the end. 2-0 Gladiators.
Sure, yeah, fair play. You know, like I said, they opened it. Oh, and Steb not able to get on the end of that one. Almost the immediate response that they needed, but currently Phoenix, as we're approaching the halfway mark, are not looking like the top of the leaders that they are, but Steb from one end of the field and puts in a decent save on the other now. Kartoffler trying to get the air dribble, but Skies reaches him, gets the challenge. And yeah, halfway point. Nearly a beautiful shot down there, but who would have thought it? 2-0 currently.
Harvey out in chat says, I hear there's a custom training for open nets. I might need to use that one actually. As here goes Step. Bossalassa's going to get the beating of him. Kartoffler has to go in the air to meet this one. Usyk follows it through. Now down the left-hand side. Can he create something? Skies again, just able to get it clear. Gladiators pressing very high up at the moment. Here's Bossalassi. Kartoffler clearing once more. Now Jazz going forward once more into the centre for Skies. Skies can't get to it. This is just a pretty dominant performance. Here's Jazz. Can he get something onto it? No, there's no one there to follow it up. Steb now might have a chance. Stopped in centre field by Bossalassi. Usyk all alone though, gets a flick away and it's saved.
Beautiful, beautiful defensive play there, but they've got to keep it up at the moment. And yeah, double demo will do it quite nicely, but they let the ball run straight back to Usyk. He punts it away and gives the ball away himself. But Kartoffler now up on this one, trying to work it into the field. That's an awkward touch there by Jazz, but he manages to get the follow-up somehow. And here they come now on the counter. Skies going up for that one. Can he get a second touch? Not quite. Bossalassi can't keep his shot down off the crossbar. And my word, Phoenix has got to find something quickly. Otherwise, we're going to see a huge upset here in game one.
We are. I've also heard in chat that Gladiators always win game one. So wait and see. Any points now at this stage of the season are going to be important. Cut that deficit down to just the one with a win today. well, not with a win, I apologise, the draw today, it would actually be equalled if they, well, actually totally cut away if they were to get the win. Be on level on points on 31. Here's Jazz, can he make it? 3, he looks for it, the double touch, doesn't quite find him. Off of the backboard it goes and cleared away. Steps now up for this one, clears this away, down to the right hand side, but with 30 seconds to go, you sense that Phoenix are just running out of time. Off of the backboard, this one, hugging possession is Steb, and Usyk gets the touch to send it in and creates quite the interesting 27 seconds to try and find that one final goal.
This is where the nerves will start to play. I mean, 30 seconds or just under 30 seconds is a huge amount of time just to hold the line. But so far, Gladiators are putting a good, solid performance, and if they can just keep the ball out of their own half or even get a third goal there, Sky's almost getting it just in, but just over onto the crossbar. With every second ticking down, I'm sure Gladiators will just want to run the clock down a little bit, but they've got to be careful here not to get done on the counter. That's a beautiful challenge there by Kartoffler, trying to work it in from the corner. Steb with the follow-up into the path of Usyk, but not able to find a solid touch on target. And unless we see a miraculous shot, we don't, as Jazz grounds the ball. And my word, Tom, God, it seems like we're casting some absolutely insane series at the moment.
We are, so as the live table has it in this Master Tier Ignis Conference, Gladiators move to 29 games, tied with Severance, who are actually alongside them on 60 games played. Will be 61 now for Gladiators, so they now just need the 2 more points to go tied with Illusion, of course 3 more to go into 6th at this stage. But Severance, I think, really are their main sort of rivals for this 6th position. It's going to be close.
It is indeed, and if it's going to be an interesting one to see how Gladiators approach this next game. They might not even thought that they could get much out of this, but you know they've got off to the perfect start. But this is the best, you know, it's a 4-game series, so the job's not done yet. If they can get one more win, then it'll be an absolutely fantastic result no matter what. But interesting to see Phoenix. They did, you know, despite having 6 shots in that last game there. They didn't really have any sort of clear-cut chances, so whether we'll soon see them step up the pressure a little bit more in the second game, we will see. But certainly, I'm excited for this one, Tom.
I'm excited as well. Phoenix really need to find that extra gear. Gladiators, they just need to keep on fighting gear, because those play-ins aren't going to get themselves. Here's Steb, goes for a shot, and Steb almost finds the net immediately. I have heard from chat, as I mentioned, this is apparently a little bit of a thing for Gladiators, liking to win first games. Here we go, off of the rear wall it goes. Steb will try and keep it alive. Bostalasso actually gets a wonderful touch and a chance to score here early in game 2. Skate goes up and he gets the goal as well. The Gladiators are absolutely flying.
I mean, you got to question the defense there for Phoenix. Those are the short shots at this level where you shouldn't see them sort of bouncing in so haphazardly, but nevertheless, Gladiators getting off to another great start as Size taking them onto the air, gets met by Usyk. Jazz on target! 2 within 30 seconds! My word, Gladiators are definitely carrying on their momentum from the first game, it seems.
And just a few people in the Twitch chat think that a blue team will win, but 2-0 Phoenix really are crumbling at the moment. Steb is going to win kickoff on the cheats. Now tries to find something into the centre. Not able to really do anything. In fact, downfield it goes off of the bonnet of Jazz, who now leaves it for Skays. Skays off of the backboard. No one there to follow it up. But 2-0, you don't really need to be committing to those ones. Here's Steb back down the field. Jazz will try and challenge for this one. Jazz takes it away. 50 in the centre with Usyk. And now Skays looks to go forward. There's a bump on Steb that just opens up the net slightly, and Usyk gets back and is equal to it in the end. Kartoffler goes up for this one. Out to the left-hand side it goes. Jazz takes it back downfield, and Usyk clears away once more. Haven't been able to string together an attack just yet of Phoenix, and it's been something we haven't really seen in game 1 either. Here's the shot, and Kartoffler gets the save once more, but they're not attacking, and that is crucial. 2-0 down.
They got to find some sort of rhythm. They might have it there, but Skies, what a save! Good reactions from him. Got just enough on it, but they haven't got the ball clear. As it comes again from Steb left-hand side. Can he find a passing field? Not quite, but it's fallen to Kotsofler, but met on the line there from one of the Gladiator players. Didn't see who it was, but yeah, at the moment, it feels almost a little bit too comfortable for Gladiators, and in this situation, I don't know whether this is a good thing or a bad thing, but certainly Phoenix, and they're not top of the table for no reason, so you just feel one more goal, especially if it comes soon, might tip the balance slightly, but who knows? Gladiators were still playing well.
They are. Here goes Step, challenged by Jazz. Jazz takes it down the right-hand side, but back downfield it goes off of Kartoffler. Now central, here it goes. Kartoffler can't take the shot. Usyk can't take the shot. Step tries to have a stab at it. He can't get to it either. And it's Bossa Lassa who brings it back downfield. Or eventually, Phoenix do get the ball back. Skays down the left-hand side, into the centre it goes. Bossa Lassa now clears. 2 minutes and 28 seconds to try and survive. Here's a chance. Here's a golden opportunity for Kartoffler.
What an absolute banger that was. I mean, it was a good idea from Gladiators for a bit of a passing play, but they just just didn't have the space to do it, and in the end it ended up with an absolute banger on target, and just the right time as well for Phoenix to get that goal, because as we've gone past the halfway point, this is where it might get a little bit dangerous, and Gladiators just got to relax a little bit and just make sure that they don't allow Phoenix back in for another opportunity.
Here goes Kartoffler, right-hand side. Bossa Lassa now going forward. Step. Awkward 50. Skates chases down. Kartoffler's back 2-1 with 2 minutes to go exactly. Absolutely open this game. This might offer a little bit of an opportunity. Step has to get to it. Step can't really deal with it. Now Skies goes for it and scores. And the 2-0 lead is restored.
What? Steven Kartoffler. I mean, that's probably a fail of the week potential there. Again, this is the sort of mistakes you should not be seeing at this level. I mean, I make them all the time, but I'm not in a master tier. These guys are, and when you've got 2 guys on the line like that, and they might have a third hit. Bossa Lassa can't keep it down. Skies with a follow-up, and finally Kartoffler gets it off the line. But my word, Phoenix just seem a bit all over the place at the moment.
Here goes Jazz trying to recollect his lines. Now to the right-hand side, over Kartoffler, can't really do so. Usyk gets the challenge in, 1 minute and 21 seconds to go. Will it be too little too late from Phoenix? A second game running. Will Gladiators put themselves in a very good standing for the rest of this season? Into the centre it goes, shot from Usyk, and the score as well. Still a long time to get this final goal. This will just be a little bit of hope for them. Nervy time coming up for Gladiators.
Is indeed, but Gladiators, just do your fundamentals, lads. Just make sure you don't do any silly mistakes, because Phoenix have conceded 2 open goals, and my word, Jazz, good touch from him to send it into the corner. Now here comes Skies, but he's got met by Usyk, trying to find a passing field in spar for Seb. Gets on with Jazz from nowhere. What a save from Jazz, but he can't keep the follower out. And Kartoffler finds the equaliser finally. Oh, it's heartbreak. I feel heartbroken, Tom.
Well, Gladiators might feel a little bit heartbroken as well. 50 seconds to try and find a winner, but they've thrown away the 2-goal lead. Phoenix finally looking like the title challenging side that they are. Here goes Kartoffler, right-hand side, trying to find the 4th that would see them turn the game around. He has to rotate back, rotate forward for Boost, I suppose. His Step. Bossa Lassa can't get over him. Step goes all alone, looks for a double touch, won't find the double touch. Usyk will, Usyk! Well, he'll find a shot, and Skies will find a save. 30 seconds to go. Bossa Lassa looks for a shot, and instead it just goes downfield. Here's Jazz keeping it alive. Jazz has to go central. Step just about reads him. Whilst he's still trying to get the ball cleared. Bit of a scramble. Usyk eventually clearing. 14 seconds to go.
Is on a knife edge at the moment. Jazz trying to find it infield, gets met on the line by Kartoffler. Here comes Steb. 4 seconds. That's an awkward touch. Skies good. Clear up the backboard, but Usyk trying to keep it alive for Phoenix. Not quite, and we go into our first overtime. And I kind of feel, I'm surprised we've made it to an overtime, Tom, but you've got to give it to credit to Phoenix. I mean, they're finally woken up, it seems, and sort of brought themselves back into it. They're still not quite as consistent as they probably would like. What a fake by Bossalassa. Jazz punts it off field, but yeah, I'm surprised we made it to OT, if I'm honest, Tom.
Yeah, I agree, and now I think Phoenix will surely be motivated to try and win this because the momentum is well and truly with them. Here goes Usyk. He's going to take a shot here. Skies is back, and Skies will not really clear. He'll get the touch to stop it going in. Bossalassa has to clear. Kartoffler is hovering around midfield, just inside of opposing territory. Not able to do anything with the ball though. Usyk tries to keep it alive. Finally applying a bit of attacking pressure on Phoenix. We haven't seen this in great numbers in this series so far. In the centre it goes. Step can't find a teammate, and Jazz has to take it back downfield. He runs out of boost and time as well. Now Usyk, who's got a reasonable amount of boost, tries to pierce the back line. Won't be able to do so. Bossalassa keeps it alive. 1 minute gone into the overtime. Now down to the left hand side. Jazz will try and take it away. Into the centre he goes. Skies takes a shot, and Usyk gets the clear.
Nervy times at the moment. Both teams just having a bit of a tussle in the midfield there. Sky's going to take it over his neck. Good clear from him. Takes it to the right hand side, trying to find the path for Jazz. If she have awkward, lovely demo, lovely bump, but Usyk holding the line. Net's open. Skies found the back of the net, and they finally get the win. They threw away the 2-goal lead, but my word, they worked hard on that one. Good counter move and managed to get in the back of the net, but my word. Anyone in chat know if Gladiators often win their second game? I mean, what a time to do it against top team, but what an absolute classic that game was. My word.
Definitely, Gladiators just about getting the victory in the end. It's not really been too easy for them, actually. They made it difficult for themselves, but they've at least got themselves a pretty decent haul in this series, and now they can truly challenge for the playoff spot. One more, and they're just about level.
Yeah, I've got to point out as well, I mean, Gladiators in that entire game had 15 shots. I mean, that is absolutely insane. And Phoenix, I think, were just... Their defence seemed a bit all over the place at certain points in that game. So they've got to tighten it up if they want to make sure that Gladiators don't get that final win to secure the series victory. But, what at least they came back into it, and they seemed at moments in the second part of that game like the top team table. But, I mean... I'm still in shock. This is insane why Gladiators are currently 2-0 in the series, but who knows? Might see a massive upset on this one, Tom.
Absolutely. Here go Phoenix. Can they find the goal to save a little bit of their pride? Find the game to solve a little bit of their pride? Not quite in this third game of 4. I have to say, I actually thought it was game 4. I'm slightly lost count there. But Bossalassa now goes down to the right-hand side. I could have sworn Sovereign Heights with game 4. Anyway, we move on. Here's a chance for Kartoffler. Takes a shot. Off of the backboard it goes. And now Steb takes a shot. Steb going to find the net. And Phoenix, for the first time all series long, can try and establish a little bit of control.
Yeah, first time we've seen them apply the early pressure. And they turned the tables and got the early goal from it. But whether Gladiators and maybe, I don't know, they can't let up at the moment. Yes, they've got at least a draw under their belts and they got 2 victories, but they can certainly try and get some more here. It's awkward rolling across the line there. Kartoffler back gets cut out by Jazz. Bossalassa chasing him on. Sky gets on it, but Usyk rotating back post saves the day for him, but they haven't quite cleared the ball until now. Steb brings it out to right hand side, but yeah, I'm just loving this series at the moment, Tom. I need to remind myself we actually got to cast it. I can't just sit back and relax. But yeah, what a series so far.
Absolutely. Here goes Kartoffler. Kartoffler takes the shot. Jazz is up and able to stop the attack. Here goes Bossalassa having to get the save away. Now into the centre. Bosalasa still attacking it. Gladiators haven't had to chase yet this series, and that's an important thing to note. They have been controlling most of the games with the first goals. Here is Bosalasa able to recollect the ball, try and go back forward. Now they have to apply pressure, looking for a reset. Won't really find it. Usyk takes it away from him, and now Skates goes up for this one, misses it. Shot comes in for Kartoffler, and the goal as well. And now I don't think there's much looking back from Phoenix. I think this game 3 might just be theirs.
Yeah, it was kind of just they didn't have it under control. They were trying to work out the field, but in the end, they just no control. And Phoenix, credit to them, stepped up on it and made them pay for it. So give themselves a little bit more breathing space, but not even at the halfway point. So if you can find a quick response, Gladiators, they might find themselves getting back into this one. But certainly Phoenix are looking a lot more dangerous in this game and putting Gladiators on the back foot and looking 2 goals to the good because of it.
2 goals to the good indeed. Here's Kartoffler, able to stop it off just inside of his own half. Skates looks for a flick. Usyk is there and ready to handle it. Kartoffler looks to the left-hand side now, going forward in great numbers, takes a shot, and Skates just about able to get it clear. Stev is chasing this one. Stev does chase this one. Usyk has to clear though into the centre. Jazz not able to get to it. Kartoffler can. 2 minutes and 27 seconds to go. Phoenix look very much in control. Here's Kartoffler, takes a shot, makes it 3 almost. No, Bosalasa gets the save.
Good save. Now he's trying to make something on the counter-attack. Right-hand side, nets opening, but Kartoffler waiting patiently there to make sure he got the clear on that one. Going for the pinch with Steb Izusek, but didn't quite work out for them. Jazz into the right-hand side. Skies with the re. Can he get the second shot? Oh my word, off the underside of the bar. But they've still got possession now. All triple commit there by Phoenix. They managed to get away with it. And Gladiators finally realising, it seems, that they've got very little time to try and find a goal to give themselves an opportunity. But they're certainly stepping up a gear at the moment. But Phoenix's defence is looking a lot better than it did in the previous 2 games.
Here's Usyk trying to bring his way. Bosalasa keeps it alive. Back to Kartoffler, sends it back downfield. Usyk will look for the redirect. Jazz is there, ready to handle it appropriately. Now Bosalasa goes back downfield. Skays will give chase. Steb is back and able to clear once more. Only 2-0. We saw Phoenix come back from 2-0 down in the previous game. Not sure whether they'll do so in this one. Well, technically it was 3-1. 2 goals is the point. Here goes Bosalasa. Now Kartoffler able to get the 50 in. Steb still going. This is something that I'm interested to see from Phoenix. This is the first time they've really been able to apply attacking pressure in great numbers, apart from maybe the first bit of, last bit of that game, that second game. But here, I sense that they're in control, and that's something I haven't sensed in the previous couple of games.
Yeah, they're working better as a team unit and just making sure, the first man's applying pressure. You've got the second man following up, and the save by Jazz on the line there just did just enough. And yeah, as I was saying, they just seem like a team now. They're looking for the passing. Their rotation's good, and it's Gladiators have struggled to try and match them as the third one goes in there. Almost consolate. Well, it's not a consolation. I don't know what the phrase I'm trying to say is, but either way, 3-0 up, and you got to feel, or I certainly feel, this has been, it's been a deserved win for Phoenix finally.
It has, and well, they wouldn't drop 4 games, I don't think, against this Gladiators side. Whether they'll drop 3 or not, and whether Gladiators can pick it up and come back in this game 4 is up for debate. We'll have to wait and see. But here we go. It is going to be the end of this game 3. 2 seconds onto the clock. The buzzer finally goes, and onto the floor it might drop. No, Stebbers, other ideas. Skazel might put a consolation in. No, Phoenix are going to win, and they're going to win quite comfortably. That is more like the title-winning side that we have seen so far from Phoenix.
Yeah, a few more shots in this game, I think, but it was almost like when they got that early goal, they just settled a little bit because they weren't on the back foot. I think Gladiators probably just stunned them a little bit in those first 2 games by getting the early goal, and they weren't too sure what to do about it. But getting that early goal just shows you how crucial it can be, because it just settles the team down, and they actually start doing what they want to do, as opposed to having to chase the game and to sort of force the goal. But you know, there's still one more game left, so if Gladiators can get another early goal, then we might see a repeat of games 1 and 2.
I apologise. I muted my microphone for a little bit of background
I was just
noise,
wondering
but,
then for a second if that was me or you,
talking.
Tom.
No, I apologise. So basically, I'm going to be honest with you. My little brother was shouting at someone, so I muted my microphone, and then, in typical fashion, completely forgot to turn it back on again. Maybe I need one of those little push to mute buttons, so I won't forget. But anyway, or like a beeping in my ears. That would be nice. I've got sauce instead. It's okay. And I've totally forgotten what my point was now. Skaze was out of the lobby. Anyway, it's a mute point anyway, because Skaze is back into the game. So there we go. The world would be such a nice place if microphones didn't have a mute button.
I mean, if that doesn't make it into potential player of the week, Tom, for this week, then you know, absolute scandal. I will say that. But anyway, at least you're back, and we can finally enjoy this 4th and final game of this series. Gladiators chasing the upset still, but you know, even if they get the loss on this one, it'll still be a tremendous performance from them nonetheless. But still, plenty left to play for. Might have an opening goal here. Kartoffler rotating well back there, gets the save on that one, punts upfield, and 30 seconds gone. No clear-cut chances yet like we've seen in previous games, but certainly Gladiators putting in a bit of pressure. Not able to make that one pay though.
Well, I suppose the silver lining is here goes Usyk looking forward. Steb's going to find almost the net. Jazz with a strong challenge, able to clear it away. It didn't go the other way, like I forget who the other caster was last season. Here's a chance actually. Bosalasa takes the shot and it's wide. Yeah, the other caster who went the other way and forgot to mute his mic when a similar situation occurred. That's gone down in RSC law. It's a classic fail. Here's Usyk. Can't really find anything. It's set up nicely for Kartoffler, but Skaze is able to clear it away. Now into the centre it goes. Maybe a chance for Gladiators. Usyk can't really get the clear away. He gets round to it eventually. Skaze is up, takes the shot, and Kartoffler clears once more.
Gladiators are looking good so far in these opening stages of the game. Looking a lot better than they did in the previous one. And the Phoenix just haven't been able to build on the momentum that they gained. And looking a bit under the cosh at the moment, but so far their defence is holding firm, and maybe that's what they just need, is just to not concede and maybe get the first goal here. Kartoffler taken to the air, didn't quite work out for him on that occasion. Here it comes now from, great demo there by Bosalasi, just to alleviate some of that pressure. And I'm actually surprised I haven't seen more of that coming in from Phoenix. A bit more aggression, it seems, is what they're lacking, but you know, still 0-0, so this could go either way this game.
Kartoffler looks downfield. Usyk is going to try and get onto it. He runs out of boost at just the wrong time and can't get to it. Steb then gets demo. This allows Skaze to attack with great pace. Kartoffler is back, and Kartoffler not going to miss that one in this match situation. That being said, it's off of the wall. Steb can't get to it. Jazz can. Jazz takes the shot. It's off the crossbar. And Skies will try to follow it in. Looks for a double touch. Won't. Yes, he will. Just about. My word, did they make that difficult for themselves. But my word, have they got their reward.
He did indeed, and that probably be the clip of the week potential there, but it's almost like you didn't want to do the easy shot. You just wanted to have some sort of a highlight play, but what a way, especially as it's bang on the halfway mark to get the opening goal. And again, we see Phoenix are going to have to chase this one a little bit. And Gladiators in previous performance have done really well when they've got this opening goal. Still plenty left to play for on the clock. So far, Phoenix under pressure.
Here's Usyk. Looks to the right-hand side. Skaze will try and get it cleared away. They are 1-0 up with Gladiators in this game. This will take them into play-in contention properly. They're already up to 7th in the league. They need 6th, and they'll be tied on points with 6th. I'm not too sure what the head-to-head is there, which is the first tiebreaker if memory serves me correctly. But goal difference that we can get for you in a moment. Here's Jazz who clears it away. Kartoffler will try and challenge. Skaze takes it away. Skaze keeps it alive, and now a chance for Jazz. Takes the shot, and it's just off the crossbar once more. He's become quite friendly with that crossbar in this game. Now a chance up the other end. Kartoffler takes a shot. He's cleared away.
It's become quite friendly, and it's becoming the friend of Phoenix at the moment, of being their fourth man. It seems good at saving on this occasion. Kartoffler, what a save! They all stretching for that one and got just enough to send it into the corner. But my word, Gladiators can smell the victory. It's within their grasp. Just top bins. What a pass from the corner that was. Bossalassa keeping it alive. Skies with the read. And nothing Usyk can do as Jazz just too quick on the turn. Slams it home. And I feel gutted because this might mean that I lose my my prediction, Tom. But at the same time, be an absolutely insane, insane victory. Basically, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've lost my prediction streak already, unfortunately, for the Veeam Extremes. That if I'm counting correctly, was up to 3. But there we go. It's okay. I'll get over it. It's 2-0. Gladiators, 42 seconds. They could get back into this here, Phoenix. Skies will try and take out any doubt that they were going to win this game. Now Skies goes, well, this is really awkward, and he's going to deal with it perfectly. That was almost a case of just taking a moment to realise that he was actually facing an open goal. Turns around to it, call as you like. No one's going to miss that one.
Yeah, again though, you got to question the defense, the touch from the last man there on Phoenix. Probably should have done better as Usyk trying to get the read off the back, didn't quite do it on that occasion. Skies now bring it up in spots. Bossalassa can't keep his shot down. Sends it into the corner, and he won't mind that at all. It just wastes time on the clock now. And I don't think we're going to see the comeback from Phoenix. But my word, you got to give it to Gladiators. They knew they needed to put in the performance. They might get fourth, and Skies, they've missed a heck of a lot of open nets tonight. But the fact is, they have come away with the victory. Consolation, maybe not quite. But who would oh my word! I kind of speechless saying it, but Gladiators have got the series victory.
I don't think we saw it coming. We saw an upset last night, and we saw an upset today. Those are the series that we always talk about in these crunch situations that you look back on and say, this is where we got those play-ins. And now they've managed to get themselves into 7th, pending confirmation that I don't have whether they'll get into 6th or not. But anyway, the point and the fact of the matter is that now they're in with a huge chance of going into these play-ins as we head into the playoff season that starts not next week, but I believe the week after. I think we go straight into it, don't we? And well, obviously they get a nice couple of weeks break in the Master Tier. Point is, they know now that it's all but in their hands, and they've got the victory against very difficult opposition who, if they are having to play them again, the teams around them, they know they probably aren't going to repeat this result.
No, and I don't know what to say about it. It's kind of I'm still in shock by that. I mean, this is the time in the season when you need to pull out a result like this. But like you say, whether they can do it again when it comes later on, against the top teams in the playoffs, we will see. But they've certainly given themselves the best opportunity and pulled off the victory. I'm sure Phoenix won't care too much about this in the long run, because I don't think they can be caught unless Dogon completely sweep their last series off, last 2 series. But this is, still, when if you're top of the table, you kind of got to stamp your authority on the lower teams. And so I'm sure there'll be some teams out there who will see this result and maybe just think that when it comes to the playoffs and the play-ins, that Phoenix aren't as dangerous as they were sort of making themselves out to be. But it's setting up for an absolute great play-ins and playoffs, basically.
It is, and I think one of the more encouraging things that this has shown to all of the other teams is that when you've got these play-ins, I mean, granted, being first, they might have to go through a bracket reset to get the beating of Phoenix, but they've shown that they aren't unbeatable, that they can, in fact, get beaten over the course of a 4-game series, albeit not quite the 7-game series you'd have to go through to beat them towards the later stages of the playoffs. But fact of the matter is, they are beatable. and they're beatable by opposition who perhaps aren't quite on their standard.
Yeah, I'm not going to say any more than that, just in case there is anybody from sort of the Gladiators that watches this. But
Talking purely statistically, of course, and not
statistically.
Not
yes, absolutely. I think we'll leave it at that, Tom, and say no more about it. But yeah, what a series to kick off the stream, and we still got 2 more coming up for you as well very shortly, in just under 20 minutes, I believe. Next up, we have Serene and Holdra, I believe. I'm sure. Yes, I think that's who it is. And it's Merits and Vector who will be taking over the reins. So, any final thoughts from you, Tom, before we part ways again?
Well, I'm now just very excited for the next stream that I think I'm on Sunday, but we'll wait and see. It should be spectacular, and I'm really keeping an eye on this Master Ignis tier, because it's Ignis Conference, even Master tier Ignis Conference. There we go, got it the right way around in the end. But yes, very interesting, and this was a wonderful series.
Indeed it was. So we'll be back in just under 20 minutes, so stay tuned. Go grab yourself a drink, because yeah, you're in for an absolute ride tonight. So until next time, we'll see you then.
Learning to trust. It's never enough, never enough. Burning me up, burning me up. Don't fight the fire. Too much, too fast to burn us out. We walk the wire, love. Don't make me read your mind. I know it. Learning to trust, learning to trust. It's never enough, never enough. Burning me up, burning me up. Fall when I'm picking you up. Of my hand, I won't be strong enough. Our love is stronger, and I'll be here. My lead, now we're taking the jump. My pride, 'cause I know you're the one. Our love is stronger. Baby, I know that it's stronger than yesterday. Two sparks igniting. We left some space for us to breathe. My head is quiet now. I can rest in peace, 'cause you are more than enough, more than enough. Feeling the rush, feeling the rush. Burning in love, burning in love. Two souls united. This roaring blaze is soaring free. If you ever get tired, I'll sing you gently to sleep, 'cause you're still more than enough, more than enough. Feeling the rush, feeling the rush. Burning in love, burning in love. I won't fall when I'm picking you up. Of my hand, I won't be strong enough. Our love is stronger, and I'll be here. My lead, now we're taking the jump. My pride, 'cause I know you're the one. Our love is stronger. Baby, I know that it's stronger than yesterday. pardon my pain. I've been in the mazes lately, starting my way. Think it's gonna take some patience.
Do you think you could be my little runaway? I say we just leave and get away. Forget the whole world and run away. We'll make our own rules and run away. Run away, run away. I just really wanna get to know ya. Know you tired of all of the old ones. little runaway. I say we just leave and get away. Forget the whole world and run away. We'll make our own rules and run away. Run away, run away. Could you be, could you be, could you be, could you be? I'm the storm that meets the moon. I'm the silent one that moves. Who you think you are? Who you think you
Good evening, one and all, and welcome back to the RSC. It is week 8, the penultimate week of league play, and if you're just joining us, you sadly narrowly missed out on a master matchup between Phoenix and Gladiators that went the way of the Fort Templar franchise, a 3-1, a rare collector's item loss for Phoenix in that one up in Master. But we must move on. We must move on to Elite. Down a tier, but not much worse in quality. As you might have noticed something already happening. I'm trying to ignore it as best I can. Yes, changed casters. Myself, Vector, of course, Merritt's alongside me, who's currently frozen at the moment. We're not quite sure where he's gone, what he's doing. The internet didn't want him to be here. So we're just going to have to roll with the punches and see whether or not he comes back. You're just going to have me for the beginning of this series at the very least. Hopefully we can go forward and actually get into the game with very few issues. But as I mentioned, Gladiators 3-1 into Elite with Serene Azuchi versus Huldra. This is a 9th versus 4th match, 13 points apart in the Elite Glaciers Conference. Azuchi on a current 4-draw streak, while on the other side, Huldra themselves have a 2-win streak. So already from that, you can probably tell this is going to be a difficult matchup easily for Serene Azuchi, and my personal thought is that it's going to be very, very difficult in just terms of how to play against the Huldra side. They're already in form. Azuchi themselves not quite ready for this matchup at this point. It feels like their ability recently, and it is their first series of the week, so they haven't really had a lot of time to get into themselves and maybe utilize some changes that they made throughout the last week to prove to us why they deserve to be further up the table. But it's on the other side for Huldra in their quest to get up into the top 3. Already quite close, but it's one that they've got to push onto this with maybe no complacency, no thought that this is going to be an easy win, because of course Huldra did sweep Serene in their opposite matchup back in week 4. It was a while ago, and it was a close series. All but one of the games was won by a goal. But you can see here with the team stats why Huldra is so far ahead of Serene in terms of placement. The goals for is higher, the goals against is lower. Saves a little bit lower, but usually means that the defense has not had to work so hard. The demo is higher. But shooting actually is quite surprising. Huldra's 22% and Serene Azuchi is 29%. So that either means maybe that Azuchi have taken less shots and scored more, and it's just the opposite for Huldra, a lot more efficient. But it's going to be one of those matchups that I think is a difficult one for Azuchi, as I already mentioned, just because of their position, but also a recent signing for Huldra a couple of weeks back on the 20th, I believe it was, of January. They replaced Connor with Con, which it ended up taking out the OR, has helped them as Connor played most of the games since then, and they've done, as I said, a 2-win streak since that signing. And it's been all smooth sailing, but you can see from the individual player stats, you can see who's going to be the ones to stand out. Caramello and Vecca on the side of Serena Azuchi, and Kingsman Gas, the captain of this team, as well as the AGM of Valkyrie Knights, alongside Linkso and Conda, recent signing. Also Ryan there, which is in my name as well, so that's going to be concerning if he ends up playing tonight. I heard in my ear that there may be some sub games that Huldra need to still play, so he may be on the field, and that's going to confuse me severely. Hopefully he can step up for his team and get them well on their way. This is their second match of the week for Huldra, and they're going to want to continue that form. As I said, they already did beat another team, I'm not entirely sure who it was, this week, so they wanted to continue that form. And I'm looking forward to seeing them do it as well, because I have predicted them to go 3-1 in this. It was a sweep in the first series. As I said, it was probably one of those close run things, and I mentioned this, the individual game scores. And I don't think it's going to be as easy as it's been a lot of times since then. Con is a new signing, and I think there'll just be that little bit of edge from Serena Zucchi. If they take the first game, maybe a little bit of a different story, but if Holder take the first two, then I think it will be a bit of a done and dusted affair, as I have asked the players. If they're all good to go, should get into the lobby as quickly as possible. It seems as though Merits has not joined us, is going to stay there as a statue, and then we'll just have to go with it. No, he's back. Are you here for us, Merits?
Yeah. I am.
Thank goodness. I thought I was going to have to keep talking forever. But thankfully we have you here. I've gone through all the pre-match talk. You can just focus on what the game's going to be like, Merits.
Yep, cool. I've also gone with the same prediction as you. You know, we're both equally as confident in Huldra to bring out this result. And I heard you mention some of the stats. Huldra does outweigh Serena Zucchi in most of those aspects. But we'll have to see when it comes down to the players on the pitch who's going to be stronger on the day.
It shall indeed. As most know, stats don't tell us everything. Give us a glimpse of the possibility, the potential of a team, but on the day, you've got to perform. And not everybody is able to keep up that level of consistency that stats may exhibit of what their capabilities are. And I expect Serena Zucchi now against the ropes, so low in the table, all the way down in 9th. Pretty sure mathematically they are still capable of getting to the playoff places, or the play-ins places at the very least, of getting close to the playoffs. And this is exactly the start you want. Great play from Verified to maybe fake out that second touch. Play it through the corner. Ryan coming in as the substitute for Huldra, as I mentioned, and needing to get those sub-games out. Already in an awful position there in the corner. Verify to get through. Score the opening goal for Serena Zucchi here. Well played.
Yep, it was a very good start for Serena Zucchi. Verified with the solo play, managed to get it past all the lines of defense for Huldra to open the scoring, and they're immediately back on the offensive with Veka puts a shot on net. Verify going for the redirect, but Kingsman gas over it, but Caramel beats out Con and adds to Zucchi's advantage early on.
She has speed from the Blue Boys. Again, this is well worked by Verified to get into that position, make sure that Huldra couldn't clear it out with an easy touch from the second man. 50s into the ceiling. Caramello's right there to clean it up, get the brace. Well, not the brace, it's the brace for the team, but not for the player. Less than a minute in to this first game, and as I mentioned, I thought, you know, if Zucchi can take one game at the very least, they might have some momentum, they could get a draw out of this series, they might get even more. I could be completely wrong. But I don't think this is necessarily the height of what we're going to see from Huldra in this series. Certainly not in this game either. I think they might come back, maybe not to equalize.
Yeah, it's looking like they're taking a little bit to warm up, but there they go.
There we go.
Con gets it past two
Speaking of warming up,
and Ryan will get the goal.
Yeah, that's going to get very confusing. You're saying my name, but I'll try and get used to it as best I can. But yeah, speaking of warming up, great goal explosion there from Ryan, opening the scoring for this Valkyrie Knights elite side, halving the deficit. Caramello's right there to double it again. So I don't even know why we're here, Merits. It's just they're just playing their own game. Doesn't really matter what we say, because we don't know what we're talking about. Kingsman Gas, they're expecting his teammate to commit to that instead of him cutting in, getting in the way. Caramello takes it in stride. Finally, actually does pick up his brace. And now just over a minute into this game. Very high scoring, which I suppose you can expect from Elite. It's unpredictable, especially in the first game. Stream nerves. It's going to be difficult, I think, for Huldra to come back from this one, but it's a great start for Zucchi, gotta say.
Yeah, and has been Verified leading the way, got a goal and 2 assists already, and I believe also a save on top of that. But now here is Huldra coming down, trying to get a bit of pressure on the board, but Serena Zucchi does such a good job get away. Verified, good redirect. Ryan as the last man does try and find Kingsman. He goes for the shot himself. Caramello making the save with the backflip. Very awkward, but he still makes it work. And now they're trying to play it from the back. Verified and Kingsman exchanging demos. It's going to be Caramello to lead the attack. He gets it past Con. But yeah, no boost to be able to go for a follow-up, and Huldra get away for now.
Finds the pinch to push it back down the field though, as well as the midfield boost. Con not quite able to beat Verify to the ball, but Ryan to keep it in the danger zone off the corner, looking for the double tap. Didn't quite work. Kingsman Gas, big miss off the wall, but Ryan's right there to take out Veka, make sure they can't win this counter easily. It's Caramello trying to play out Ryan in the midfield. Demo from Kingsman Gas getting revenge as Con tries to go up and beat 2, but Verify to clear it out, and it's kind of settled down this game now. Both sides got it out their system, scoring a lot, of course. Holdra not scoring as much, but they've managed to solidify their defense, make sure they're not being exposed too often, although Caramello's looking for his double tap. Hat-trick potential goal there, didn't quite work out. But you like the confidence from Azuchi, as mentioned, in 9th place. Awful place to be, especially going up against 4th place in the conference. Already been swept by this team before, earlier in the season, but they're showing no fear. Doesn't matter. They can be as confident as they like, but if they don't do enough on defense, gonna get exposed like that. Holder close the gap.
It was a really unfortunate bounce. It just fell to Con. He had the whole net to himself, and I don't think you'd expect him to miss from there. But overall, so far, it's been really solid from Serenazuchi. They've remained composed for the most part on defense, and they've been really clinical up top. And they're still ahead in this one with a minute 45 remaining. Veka gets it away. It's going to fall to Caramello. Gets the 50 out to Veka. Going to take it back towards the middle. Just misses Verify though, but he might get beat to this one by Kingsman. He does get past him. Still on the ball. Uses his dodge. Cleared away by Con for now. And now here come Holdra. Ryan puts that one towards net. Verify. Pretty easy time getting that one away. And now they'll have a bit of possession. But Con going to go for the 50. Veka gets it past Kingsman. And Serenazuchi on the attack again.
Not for very long. It's Kingsman Gas to take control this one. Maybe trying to look for the dribble around Caramello there, but he won't be fooled. Another one back to the midfield, a little too hard for Veka to play. Verifies to come pick it up. It's to the backboard though. Very few touches here from Holdra on defense, trying to pass it to each other, but that's dangerous! You've set it into the wrong area, and Caramello's right there to get his hat-trick. 3 shots for 3. Perfect efficiency for the Azuchi man. And it's just, again, Holdra making it so much worse for themselves. I liked the passing in the defense because it means that, you know, you're keeping it away from your opponent, but if you just throw it straight back into that midfield area, you've undone all that good work and made it far too easy for Azuchi to look for that interception, look for the shot. Caramello took it well, and it's not looking great in this opening game. I was about to start talking about Con's contribution, considering his very most recent signing for Holdra. And it felt like the honeymoon period had been extending quite a bit from that signing. It was over 2 weeks ago, and they've had a 2-win streak since then, so it's worked, and it's continuing to do so. A double commit ends up being why Con can close the gap once again, picks up his own brace. These mistakes that are creeping in for Azuchi, they're in 9th for a reason. You've got to say it, their defense hasn't been great. But if they can just outscore Holdra, if they can just beat them straight up, then, I mean, they're doing well. It's just that little thing in the back of your mind. Do they need to do a bit better on the other side of the field?
Yeah, it's just a bit of faffing about in the defensive end, and it's just allowing Holdra to get these chances they shouldn't be getting, but Verify with a little bit of fortunate for himself. Veka going to put it onto the backboard. Ryan slicing the clear, and it's going to pinch off of Con.
Oof.
And Verify will take the credit for that one, and that sure put the game to bed.
Salt in the wound with that pinch. Speaking of chances that they shouldn't get, Azuchi really shouldn't have been allowed to get a chance like that. Ryan with a weak play off of the backboard, something that Hunter have definitely struggled with in this first game, and it's allowed Azuchi to just play their game, get forward, have no respect for Holdra. And it's allowed these chances to flourish. A few double commits here and there, especially one on defense that led to a goal, and another one there, but of course they're 2 goals up. They don't really care all that much, and to be honest, neither should we. They won the game. They've opened up Holdra quite well here. 10 shots between Con and Ryan. I think it was, 11 shots for Holdra as a whole, and only 7 for Azuchi, but they put 5 of those away. That is the big difference. Ability to hold it down on defense, and Holdra desperately failed in that regard. So they're going to have to really stock up on some sandbags, maybe build those defenses, really figure out what it is that's going wrong. I mean, most things that happen badly in defense are a result of your midfield play because you can't control the ball well enough, stop your opponents getting out on the counter. But most of the goals weren't on counters for Azuchi. They were just straight up mistakes from Valkyrie Knights.
Yeah, but they still played really well overall. They made 7 saves in total, and Verify, he got 2 goals and 3 assists. That's 100% goal contribution rate, so he was definitely, you know, all over the pitch for Azuchi, and he's what really led them to victory all in all.
Did it indeed. On the other side, as I said, I'm looking at Con. Start to wonder, you know, is the honeymoon period fading? Starting to think, was this the right signing? Of course, there's only one game. It's easy to jump to conclusions with the recency bias. Kingsman Gas and Ryan as the resident substitute, should we say, for this Holder team. Not having their full main roster, maybe hurting them at least in the first game. But here on Forbidden Temple, will things be different? It's an early chance for Caramello, denied by Con. I'm sure he'll be looking to continue his scoring grace. His incredible hat-trick came out for him in the opener. Maybe one to isolate for Holder's sake.
Yeah, but it's another bright early start for Serena Azuchi. Now it's also going to go towards net. Con already forced to make 2 saves in 30 seconds. And Ryan going to send it all the way over to the other side of the pitch where Caramel is there. Puts it into the middle. Veka can only find Kingsman Gas at that 50, and Ryan will send it away. But Caramel will send it straight back. Veka maybe waiting there. Kingsman can only get to his backboard. Con barely getting it away, and Holdra still hanging on. Minute gone. So much pressure for Serena Azuchi already. Kingsman missing that one. Ryan clears it away, and Con will get rid of that one.
Yeah, I think that's actually the first time it's left the Holder side of the field a minute in, and they've had very little on the offensive side. That's not a single shot put on target. Yeah, here's the first from Korn. Kingsman Gas get a bump, doesn't matter. In off the defender, despite Azuchi having the run of play, being all over Holdra in the first minute. All it takes is one shot, one touch, one strike to the top right. And Caramello, despite his plaudits on offense, couldn't quite do the same on the goal line. And this time Holdra opened the scoring. Good start.
Yeah, but it was an incredibly well-placed shot from Con. Straight into the upper 90. Caramel did his best to get there, but he couldn't. He was feeling the pressure from Kingsman Gas, and the shot was just too well placed to balance both those things and still make the save. And it's Holdra up 1-0 in game 1. But they come down the other end immediately. Kingsman getting bumped there, but Con will be the one to sweep the ball away back up, pin it back into the orange half. But Kingsman going to go for goal by himself, forcing the double commit by Serena Azuchi. Caramel will get the save for that one. He does get the little clear off the backboard there, but no let up for Serena Azuchi just now. Veka going to miss that one, leaving it for Caramello. Going to put it to the orange backboard. Ryan, big clear away, but Verify able to keep the pressure on. Kingsman getting that clear there, and Con able to latch on to it. Caramel getting away. Kingsman with the back flip. It's dropping up pressure, but Ryan gets back to it, and Serena Azuchi chasing this equaliser.
The Olds are doing much better in clearing their lines this time around. Figured out that it's not so simple. Just keep the ball in your opponent's half the full game, and making sure they're the first to the ball, at least not the second to it. When it comes to getting those touches away, a wide open net will not be found. Caramello at the back post just about clears it out, but Ryan to try and follow up solo with no boost, has to just slam it at the net. Con does it again, trying to hit bottom right this time. Verify was there, but no teammate for the follow-up is available as Kingsman Gas as the third man comes in to clean up the chance. And another double commit. It's the one thing that I was worried about the most for Azuchi. If it just started to happen more and more, if it just compounded. We saw a few in the first game, but it didn't matter because they were just simply outscoring Holdra. They were exploiting their woes on defense, but now it's the opposite happening. Holdra have shorted up, made sure that they're tight and controlled at the back. Now they're just going forward, stealing as much boost as they can, making everything awkward for Azuchi as another chance goes begging to make it 3. We have not seen a 3-goal lead in this series as yet. I might be wrong about that. No, we haven't, because there was a 3-1 in the first game. But if Holdra managed to take 3-0, it will be a massive detriment to Azuchi's mentality going forward. Obviously, they're riding a high of winning the first game, but it was off of a lot of misplay from Holdra. And some great defense of their own, as you already mentioned. Plenty of saves for them, but they're not making nearly as many here as Con gets his brace once again. That's the first 3-goal lead. Comes off great play as well from Ryan, but another double commit. It seems like that's happening every single Azuchi concession.
Yep, it was kind of like what Holder was doing in game 1, but they've, as you said, they've tightened up on defense, and the scoring threat was there from game 1, and they've made it 4 off the kickoff.
Painful.
Kingsman Gas grabbing his second of the game to make it 4-0. It just wasn't the greatest of kickoffs from Verify and Kingsman Gas. You're not going to miss those.
I mean, it's Kingsman Gas. He's had some stinkers in his time. I believe he was part of a fail of a week not too long ago, but yeah, that one off kickoff, easy as pie. And happy to take it, I'm sure, to pad his stats. Picks up his own brace. As you said, bad kickoff from Verify. I think he just flew straight past the ball. Just overcooked it. And it's forced Azuchi into a much worse position. Caramello with a nice looking air dribble from the edge of the box, but 2 players sent up, enough to deny it. And now it's just to see it out for Holder this final minute. Make sure Azuchi don't get back into it. The game's probably over, but there is the momentum that you can get from scoring at least 1, maybe 2 goals against your opponent. They outscored him massively in the first. It ended up just a 2-0 game in the end. This is a 5-0. Much different. Kingsman Gas with his hat-trick as well. And it's been a beautiful comeback from Holder. Shows you exactly one of the reasons why they're all up on 4th.
Yep, and Kingsman Gas stat padding his way to a hat-trick to make it 5-0 and really securing the game for Holder. It's a big improvement defensively. Serena Zucci put 9 shots on net, but yet to score. Just testament to how quickly Holder have warmed up to this series and boarded up any mistakes defensively. Serena Zucci just can't get a look in so far. With 30 seconds left, it'll be good if they can even find 1 goal for the road. Kingsman Gas gonna get his assist, and Con will get his hat-trick. 788 points. This has turned into an absolute riot for Holdra.
Yeah, Holder just capitalizing upon Azuchi's capitulation here, knowing that they can't win the game. It's essentially, they've just, I don't like saying the term given up, but that is basically what they've done. There's no reason to continue using too much energy to try and get anything from this game, because the result is set in stone, and if they do, it's essentially just a Brazil setup, which you never want to do. As a rule 2 on the goal line here, making it a temporary 2v2 in the last 15 seconds will make no difference whatsoever to the result, or to hopefully to any of their egos, their fragility in terms of mentality going forward. Just a little bit of an exhibition there for Holder to show off their 2v2 skills, but it is 1-1 in the series, and it is still on the cards. Both of our predictions merits a 3-1, of course. The first game, maybe, as we said, just a warm-up period for them. Every single game is important, especially for a team in Holder's position as they were. I can check the scoreboard here, or the leaderboards. They were at 33 points going into this game. Thanatos just 1 above them. Resident all the way up at 39, so they've got a lot of catching up to do. And as I said, they'd already played their first series this week, so 4 games, 4 wins is all they can get. They've got 1 on the board now, and the best they can possibly get is 36, I believe it is. So they will be above Thanatos, depending on Thanatos' next result, which will put them into 3rd. Good position for the final week, especially, as I believe we're having a computer restart here for one of the players for Verify, I think it is. So got a little bit more time to break down exactly what it is that Azuchi need to do to come back from this one. They started well, but does this really affect them? Does this have a massive, painful, existence for Azuchi here, going 6-0 down in the second game, or to just wipe it clean? Think what we should do in the next game.
I think they're going to feel a bit disheartened. They put upwards of 10 shots on Holder's net just for none of them to go in. And it was Con making 5 saves on the defense, scoring a hat-trick and getting 2 assists. I believe we got something around 900 points that game. So it's an absolutely huge performance for him. And he was the one really intercepting most of Azuchi's plots to try and score. And Holder kept a clean sheet in game 2, mainly thanks to him.
Yeah, it was a great contribution, of course, all around the team thing. Ryan felt like he was maybe just sitting back and enjoying the show. Con and Kingsman Gas assisting each other, being those catalysts on offense, the tip of the spear, and doing it well. Of course, they are the main roster, despite Con's recency to this team, relatively new to it, and it was my feeling that maybe they were going to struggle a little bit. Of course, they were on that 2-win streak. I could be completely wrong about that, going against a team that had already swept earlier in the season. I think it's Lynx, that's on the side of Draugr. So losing him, you thought they might struggle. They did in the first game, of course. Now they've really rallied back, a 6-0, but it's a clean slate. It's a fresh take on this game 3, and I'm not entirely sure why it is that one of the players need to restart their PC. Maybe they felt they weren't playing nearly as well, or something was going wrong with their setup. As technical difficulties, well aware of happening in game and just in broadcasting and in general merits. So hopefully that sorts out his issues. But I still think it's probably going to end up a 3-1 in Ultra's favour. I don't think it'll be nearly as high scoring in the third and fourth game as it kind of seeps into the back of your mind as the series goes on, that you need to be a little bit more defensive, a little bit more passive when you're going for plays in the latter half of the series. So I'm hoping that it gets a little bit more tactical and there's a little bit more in terms of team play and maybe even mechanics. It's not something I necessarily expect from Elite to go for the high flying stuff, but we've seen a few air dribbles here and there, double tap attempts, and I'd just like to see a few more of those come off to really give us a show by the end of the series.
Yeah, but Serena Zucchi know they can make pressure. They've put up 10 shots in both those games. It's just down to Holder tidying up on defense in that second game, which didn't allow them to score. So if maybe they get a bit more physical, try and disrupt Holder's rotation, open gaps in the defense to, get those goals in, and maybe it'll be the difference for them to secure the draw or maybe even the win. But there's more they have to do. They need to tighten up on defense as well. There was too many double commits in the midfield, which was putting them back into defense, and they were double committing there as well. So there's a lot of things need to tidy up, but it's pretty easy to make those changes, and I think those changes will be what leads them to victory if those are made.
Hopefully that is the case for them, as we do see Verify rejoin the lobby finally. Hopefully his PC is all well and good to go, unless it was just a freeze-out tactic, You never know. They could say anything, and it could have just been to stop the momentum that Huldra kept building up in that game. It felt like it had a really great head of steam, and it was one that I think is going to be difficult to bounce back from, of course. But we know what they were capable of in the first game. It's just bringing that back, pushing out on offense, and not respecting Huldra. It seemed like worked in the first game. Of course, the defense wasn't quite there, but if you keep doing it, you can really get some plays going. And hopefully we see that again here on the third game of the series on Sovereign Heights. One of my favourite maps, Merits. Did you know that?
It is a very nice map, I have to agree with you there. It's one of my favourites as well. Obviously recently added, I believe, 2 seasons ago now, and Ryan nearly starting well for Huldra yet again, and a lot of pressure here for Huldra, but Serena Zucchi getting away. Veko with the whiff there. Caramello with a little bit of time, just going to send it to the corner. Kingsman puts it middle. Ryan going to go for the backboard, trying to go for the double. Doesn't make a connection with it though, and Veka trying to play it slow, but Con just doing everything to disrupt the progression of Serena Zucchi and keeping them pinned down to the defense. Kingsman Gas going to go for the flip reset. See, he's attempting a bit more mechanic, trying to be have a bit more flair in his play, but Caramel going down the other end and show him what's up. Kingsman can go for something, but Caramello can do it. A beautiful double tap to start off game 1.
The flying Frenchman, outrageous from Caramello, and what a way to open it up in game 3. It's exactly the comeback you want to see from a team that just got demolished 6-0. I think Sovereign Heights might be one of Caramello's favourite maps as well. If he's going to be playing like that, tries to fake out Kingsman on defense, which was risky, allowed Con to take the shot, but they get away with it. And now a wide open field to go back down. Caramello wanted to get some more mechanics into the sky there, but didn't have the boost to do it. Messed up on the reset as well, but you'd love to see the confidence, not only to just attempt it, but to pull it off as well. It means it's going to continue to try and do it, because he feels like he's in form. Huldra want some mechanics of their own, of course, as Ryan attempts this off of the backboard. Didn't quite work, and Zucchi managed to push back another onslaught. Free shot from Con was weak, easy to clear out by the first man. They're keeping that pressure though, that's important as Ryan gets beaten away. Great stop by Azuchi there on defense, exactly the sort of response we wanted to see.
Yep, and Serena Azuchi, if they can absorb the pressure, they might find themselves having some free chances on the counter-attack, because Huldra are playing a game of purely trying to outpace the opponent, to try and force mistakes and errors and find their way into the net by brute force. Now Con in the sky puts it middle for Ryan, gets on the end of it but can only send it to the corner. Now Verify sending it away long. Con comes across, sends it in to that orange corner. Kingsman Gas will come to intercept it, but Caramello will be the one to put that one closer to the net and try and keep pressure on for Serena Azuchi. Veka only 22 points this game, misses that one yet again. Now Caramello 1v1 versus Ryan, but does get away for now, and Huldra, they might have a chance here with just under half the game left.
Speaking of the low point totaling for Veka, before the halfway mark hit, not a single Huldra player with over 100 points. They are very close, and Con did manage to get it, but only 2 shots on the board, no other stats to speak of. It's donuts across the board. And as I said, I didn't expect it to be very high scoring in these final 2 games. It's gone that way, at least so far. Still 2 minutes left to go. That was dropped way too precariously, though, for Verify to get his strike away. Awful touch here from Kingsman Gas. Really should just wait, should just follow that ball back, but ends up putting it across, maybe expecting someone to be in position to pick it up, but it's led to a 2-goal lead now for Azuchi. Verify happy to take it. Yeah, the whiff wizard is his tag, but no big whiff there. Allows Azuchi get back into it and prove that it doesn't matter where you are in the table, anybody can beat anybody, especially in Elite. I've always called this the most unpredictable tier. Never know what's going to happen, there's so much talent. It's Veka looking to get a big 50 open here. Got the reset as well. Con is enough to keep it off the goal line and at least keep this scoreline respectable for the time being.
Yep, now Huldra trying to create some pressure of their own, but Verify gets it away. Only momentarily as Kingsman Gas puts it straight back in, and still pressure, but that shot's going to be too weak to really challenge them, but Con going to be the one to stay on it. But the pressure will be nullified for now until Kingsman puts that one on net just too high. Ryan puts back in Caramel, no boost, going to play it off to Veka, can only pop up into the sky where Con is already there. He's been so fast this series, but his teammates haven't really been there to support him when he goes for those plays, and the ball just ends up going back into Huldra's half. But now we're into the last minute, they need 2 goals. Kingsman Gas gets a dim 1-1, Verify no boost, Verify makes a save, and only just, but still Huldra with the pressure. Kingsman Gas went back, so it's going to be Verify to be the one taking it away. Kingsman going to slow it down a little bit, but you don't really have time to do that when you're 2 goals down. It's a good 50, past Veka, Verify bumped Con there, and that's 1 goal back, Vector.
And finally, they got it. Huldra have been doing prep work for like the last 2 minutes. They were starving out Azuchi so much, but they just couldn't get the timing right for the strike. We saw Con go for it. It was just an easy stop for Verify on the line. 5 saves for him now. 7 in total for Azuchi. The defense has woken up again, but it's so much closer this time. With 30 seconds left, if Ryan could keep control of this ball, never mind, he throws it away, but it does end up in Kingsman Gas's possession now. The last chance to push it down the field, but Verify's right there. Uses all his boost to do it, but he doesn't care. All he wants is the ball in the red half of the field, well away from the blue net, but that's the wrong way to pinch it. Ryan can't catch up to it with no boost. Caramello has to play through the corner. A big demo has given Azuchi a chance to ride this one out, save themselves. Is this going to drop for Ryan? Takes a shot, but Veka's right there. It's going to hit the ground. No, Con keeps it alive, but Caramello keeps it away from the net, away from the danger area. Eventually, they go for the counter, and Azuchi clinch it at 2-1. I really thought at the end there, Huldra had something. They were building up for so long. As I said, they were just boost starving. They couldn't get it in the final third. All the prep and none of the payoff. They eventually got one goal from a good bump and an open net, but Azuchi, they held on. That defense came back to life, and they've given themselves at least a chance to draw this series, and I think they've done way better than a lot of people assumed was going to happen here. Getting one game against this Huldra side on a win streak, it's been great.
Yep, and it's another great defensive display from Serena Azuchi. They've been trading defensive masterclasses so far this series. Game 1 was Azuchi, Game 2 Huldra, Game 3 once again Serena Azuchi. Verify with 5 saves on the board, a goal. And Azuchi, they only put up 4 shots compared to Holder's 9, but they still came out with the win, and it was a very good defensive display from them.
Yeah, they seem to play better when they don't have the ball, when they're having to defend against Holder, even though they got stabbed out so much there. I think there was a point where both, or at least 2 of the players were on 0 boost, and they were just having to drive around and hope that Holder didn't get an unstoppable shot in one of the top corners, but it never came. And as much as you can say they were fortunate that Holder didn't capitalize upon those chances, they did their due diligence, and as we saw it from Verify there, an MVP performance, 5 saves to keep them in that game, a couple from Veka and Caramello as well. The team contributions are so important, and they've always had that cool and calm, collected vibe about them. Despite the fact they got dominated in Game 2, they don't seem to panic all that much. They've had double commits, of course, we've seen it plenty, where the reason why their defense fell apart in that game, but they're doing it so much better now. They just have to do it one more time to take this series and bounce back and prove why they don't deserve to be at the bottom of the table. It's up to Holdra, really. The onus is on Holdra to get this draw back, and that's something that I didn't expect myself to be saying.
Yeah, but I think both teams just need to find a bit of consistency, just being too back and forth for a series like this. Now it's going to be open, and Veka and Ryan had the same decal, so I thought that was Ryan in defense, but it was actually Veka, and it was an open net for Verify after all, and I'm not sure quite what happened, but Serena Zucchi will be happy with that. An early start, I'm not quite sure what went on there, but
it was just
carnage. You have the
it was just it was just I forgot to tell you what it's called. You know, when Destruction Derby, that's what I'm thinking of, where cars just go after each other instead of anything else, trying to destroy one another as best they can. End up with just a weak bouncer all the way through. Verify wasn't alive when his goal went in, but Con was right here. Caramello, not with the greatest of touches, kind of takes it away from Verify, goes all the way to the corner boost, has to speed up, full pelt to try and get back to this, but Con wins the 50. A little bit of fortune with the bounce as it goes under the crossbar, but he will not care, as neither will Holdra. They equalize a minute into the 4th and final game. It's Verify looking to get another one, but it was crossbar out. Veka couldn't quite get across in time, and another counter on the cards for Con.
Yep. I think in that goal, I think Caramel might just felt a little bit bad the first goal went in, because Seam just delivered that to Con on a platter, and we have even is back to square one for both teams now. Tied game with a minute and a half gone. Serena Zucchi straight back on the offensive, double commit there from Ryan and Con, but Con is going to be the one to follow it through. He gets it onto the backboard, Verify, gets it away, and the bounce down goes past Ryan. Kingsman Gas comes across to cover it. That's not a very good clear. Can Ryan get towards net? Yes, he can. Veka not close enough that time, and Holdra back in the lead.
Yeah, another weak clear from Verify. I think he was on, yeah, it was very low boost, sub 20 there, attempting to get it out, and there was a demo on the back line by Con, which meant that the rotation was broken, and it seemed just like a matter of time until that popped out to the midfield. Easy enough to finish off for Ryan as he attempts to stop a shot. Azuchi's on there. Straight off kickoff. Straight back into it. Azuchi trying to fake that one out. Veka didn't want to go for it. Verify had the demo as well, so it was a wide open net. Hesitating a little bit, Azuchi here. Maybe some nerves coming in, knowing they've got a chance to win this series. To fight back on such a long draw streak starts to get to you a little bit. What do we need to do to win? What you need to do is hold on. Fight back. As Caramello can't quite read the bounce, and Verify was right there to follow it up, but he didn't read it either. Veka gets pushed away by his own teammate. Good fake out. Did allow some space to work with, but Con straight back on the offensive. Ryan is there to sink his brace. Get the 2-goal lead once more for Holdra. And this is more of what I expected from the beginning of series from Holdra. Able to stop the offensive counters from Azuchi with the first man, and then just send 2 people forward and create something. They really struggled at points in the series, but in this 4th and final game, it just feels like a roller coaster, Merritt. It's literally gone back and forth for both teams.
Yeah, but Ryan is starting to get involved for Holdra, and it's really been getting them to victory. because it was really just Con and Kingsman doing most things on the attacking front. Now Ryan's starting to get involved, and it's just made them a formidable force up top. But that was going to be open. The 50 goes astray. No one was there for Huldra to receive it, and Caramel was the one who had the open net, which, as you said, did result from a double commit between Ryan and Con once again.
Yeah, second and third man far too slow to the ball, and Caramello almost missed this, to be honest. That was very narrowly close to hitting the crossbar and going anywhere. Could have been awful for Azuchi. Still plenty of time left in the game, of course, in the back half. And only one goal. This could come down to a nail biter to decide whether Azuchi can claw back some positions up the table. Sveka with a great save, 1v1 for Caramello to try and fake out, but Kingsman commits early. Ryan to push it back up the field as well. Caramello, not the best decision, could have just took that through the corner, but now it's going to be awkward for them to deal with as Kingsman Gas has possession. Flick as well. Caramello does enough to get it away, and the 50, fortunately, doesn't go towards the blue net. A 2-goal lead for Huldra here would be devastating, but in fact it's gone the other way. Whiffed on the aerial, and Verified's right there to gobble it up. Once again, that lack of control, of not knowing exactly where you want to put the ball, leads to disaster for Valkyrie Knights. It's Verified with the brace, ties up the game with a minute to go. This is going to end interesting.
I'm not quite sure what's been happening this game. It's just been absolute carnage. So much inconsistency up and down the field. And it's a tied game again. I think this game is just destined to go to overtime, maybe with a couple more goals sprinkled in. It's certainly looking that way. Kingsman gets that one just past Veka. Verified puts that one on net. Ryan gets beat to it, and Veka has the open net. And potentially is back in Serena Zucchi's hands. It's their destiny to win this series. And it's all come down to that 3-goal comeback.
Yeah, they're really struggling to control the edge of their box here now, Huldra. Potential nerves setting in. Struggling to even get any sort of, as you said, consistent touch. Following up their own touches. Ryan does it here well enough, but it's maybe a little bit too late. There's a double tap attempt from Caramello. Con was completely confident that wasn't going to come back to haunt him. Sveka with a decent double tap to keep this in the red half, exactly where they want it, as they did in the last game. Verified with a double tap attempt, doesn't make it. Kingsman Gas expected Caramello to hit that early, but he fakes it out, attempts to go for the 50, but this is a good play from Caramello, because all it does is waste time. As long as they can just, hold back and not hit it straight, they're slowing the play down. They're, curbing the momentum for Huldra to try and get back as they attempt to get back on the counter. Con with an awful touch to make it so awkward for Kingsman Gas. Caramello with a free shot is weak, but again, wasted time. Verified is just going to drop it insultingly on the edge of the box for Huldra. That would have gone in, no doubt about it. And it's given Azuchi a 3-1 victory over Huldra here, 9th versus 4th. And that final game was crucial for them to win, because that does put them into 8th. They're one above Darkness now, still I say slightly, very behind Saturnia in 7th. They're at 23 wins, Saturnia's at 31. So I think they're mathematically out of play-ins, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong about that, but if not, then it's an extremely difficult road either way in their final week. Only 8 points left to play for, but this is a great start to it. To beat Huldra, this sends a message to every other team above them, that 7th to 5th spot now, that they're not pushovers. They've made a change here, and it's massively for the better.
Yep, and they finally snapped their 4-game losing streak, and now they'll be going into that series on Saturday against Fearless
Draw
Bravo
streak,
with their head held high. If they can beat Huldra, even if they have a sub, they did play very well defensively in those final 2 games. If they can just, what's the word I'm thinking of? If they can just assure some things in the midfield, get their rotations perfected, they could have a seriously good chance against any other team they're playing in the final 2 weeks.
Yeah, I completely agree. As I already mentioned, the series, most woes on defenses are as a result of your inability to control the midfield, especially the midfield boost. If you're not rotating well enough to make sure your opponent can't starve you out, always has control of the air, because air superiority always reigns in Rocket League, then yeah, you're really going to struggle. But they managed to do that well, Serena Zucchi, and going forward, they should have a lot more confidence. Now they finally cracked the code, at least against Huldra, to break that draw streak and push on forward. Of course, commiserations to Huldra losing that one, as I believe they only draw now with Thanatos at 34 and 34, and they're way down on goal difference. I'm not sure what the head-to-head between those teams are, but yeah, Thanatos still have a chance to take down Tigris at the bottom of the table and widen that gap once again from Huldra and the top 3 spots, which are so important by the end of league play. But that is going to be it for the elite tier tonight, and for Huldra and Serena Zucchi, and sadly for you as well, Merits. You'll be leaving me, and Tavish will be taking your place. But thank you so much for joining me. You've been fantastic tonight, and I hope everyone at home is enjoying it. We've still got one more match in the Prospect Division, I believe it is, coming up. So don't go anywhere. We've got more RSC action coming right up.
I don't know what to do. I'ma fall in the back of my coupe. Shout out to my brother in the coat, ayy, ayy. I got 2 damn phones, call me Kevin Gates. Get these bands, lock 'em up, put 'em in a race. Don't need no safe, we get all I'm feeling change. Don't feel the same, no, I don't wanna feel this way. I can't escape, you know, no. My heart is racing, no, no. You took my place and I can't take it back, no, take it back. My heart breaks when you call my phone. Why can't you just leave me alone? I can't escape the way you made me feel, ayy. My heart breaks when you call my phone. Why can't you just leave me alone? I can't escape the way you made me
Welcome back, one and all, for the third and final time tonight to the RSC League Play Week 8. If you're just joining us, you've narrowly missed out on a pretty good match, in my opinion, and merits the caster, of course. In Elite, it was a 3-1 victory for Zareen and Azuchi over Holdra, an unexpected result. It seems to be the night of them, as Source said before we came onto the broadcast, but another unexpected change is Tavish coming in for merits. I'm so glad that you're joining me again, Tavish, in the booth. Hopefully this prospect matchup that's about to unfold will be enough to entertain us both.
I'm happy to be back, Vector. And again, a pleasure to cast with you. It's definitely been a while. And
Yes.
even though I didn't
Sure.
see the first two matchups, I definitely believe that there have been some pretty great results. And, you know, to start with
Upsets,
Master, then
yeah.
Elite, and now to go to Prospects. We end with the lowest, but it could be the biggest result, as Cardinals and Newborn are taking on each other. Newborn being a little bit higher than Cardinals in the standings, as Newborn is second and Cardinals is fifth, but it doesn't mean that Newborn automatically has to win here.
Yeah, no, not at all. As the last series definitely proved to us, it was 9th versus 4th. 9th end up taking it. So literally anything can happen between these two teams, and it's important to note that these two teams drew in week 3. Of course, this is the rematch, Cardinals versus Newborn. The roster's changed slightly since then, so anything can happen. That was a close back and forth series. It was a win on one side, a loss on another, and then it just went back and forth like that until the draw happened. But in more recent results, Cardinals have gone a win, a draw, and a loss, as Cardinals have not played their first matchup this week. This is their first of the week, but Newborn have played their first match, which was a draw. They won before that and drew before that as well. They seem to be allergic to losing, as they've only lost once this season, as it alludes to their pretty high spot of second in the conference. And it's one that's crucial for both sides, is easy to say, especially in the penultimate week with only 8 points to play for after this week, as Newborn currently tied with Limousine at 40 points apiece for that first spot. So important for them to get that, any sort of result here, but so more for Cardinals as well, probably more for Cardinals even, as they're 2 games behind, and the next rivals in Hot Metal, and 4 games behind Micah Faction, up in third. So this is a beautiful, well-positioned opportunity for them to take down a team that they're not expected to, and to drag them back down as well. So they've give themselves a chance to try and push back up into those high echelon spots of third, second, and first. But as you can see from the team stats here, something to point out is that Morris is relatively new to this team. He got signed for Newborn a couple weeks ago, and he's been playing a fair bit well, of course, because they've drawn a 1 since then. But Mauro and M8 set, I'm not sure how to say that name, if I'm entirely honest, Tavish. M8A7. It's probably some weird way to say it, like meat or mate or whatever, but I can't deal with it.
Well, I think we're just gonna call him Mate, and I was also already looking at his name as well, and it's not the easiest one to
M87.
pronounce. We'll figure it out during the series. If he's playing, maybe Man Likes is playing. But, you know, one thing
Hopefully.
that definitely stood out to me when comparing those two teams is that they both score a lot of goals. As Cardinals had 159 goals for, and Newborn had 154. So it's pretty close to each other that both teams are really high scoring. The only real difference is that Newborn managed to save a lot more goals. So they don't concede, but a high scoring team like Cardinals could have a great opportunity here to actually, you know, break that down. And as you said earlier, in the Elite Series, we had 9 versus 4th, and 9 end up taking that series. So maybe here the number 5 can take the spot or take the series from the number 2.
We shall have to see, as all the players are in the lobby, ready and raring to go, I am sure, as Fort Templar, the second team of the night on the stream, looking to do the same as their big brothers all the way up in Master. Take down a team they're not expected to. As an early start looked awkward for them here on defense. Off the kickoff, Maurice is right there. The new signing attempt to start early. Such a close affair already as Sabine, or Sabinex, or however you say his name, almost scored on his own net, attempting to clear it, I assume. There's a potential fail of the week here, as Hive has had that clear, you've got to say. Master's not quite ready to make up for both of his teammates' errors. But Mauro was right there to take it. The Moroccan man is, at least Moroccan car. It's done very well for Newborn to start with.
This just hurt. I've played the Prospect a couple seasons ago, and I know the struggles of all the Prospect players. But I think all of the Prospects know to not try to clear the ball inside your own net, and definitely not when you're so close to the post. But you know,
the memo didn't get to Sabine.
Sabine tried something else, and well, it didn't work out. And Cardinals, they were so close to actually clearing the ball, but in the end, Newborn were able to score on it. And I'm just curious to see how this is going to pack out. If we see more of those actions, maybe a beautiful fail of the week, maybe a clip of the week. Only one way to find out, but definitely here in the first minute has come and gone. And where Cardinals, they looked a bit iffy, a bit struggling here. Definitely on defense, as they can't really get the ball out into the other half. Where Newborn, obviously, they got a free goal out of that struggle, and they're looking like the top dog here so far.
3 saves already for Cardinals' sake. Not a single shot. Of course, you don't want to spend your entire life on defense. Sabine left to try and pick up the pieces here with 0 boost. Ivers though to follow it. Master's right there to pick up the pieces. Maybe get a shot on target. Top left corner. Not quite able to snipe it inside the post. First shot comes through for Cardinals as they get confused about who's supposed to have this ball against Sabine on low boost from my perspective. Ivers is right there, but somehow he ends up behind the ball and can't quite steer it into the red net. First big proper chance, you've got to say, wasted there for Cardinals to prove to Newborn that they aren't pushovers. They're not just here to flounder and to fall over in the face of the Green Phoenix. As another shot comes across for Sabine, finally makes up for his first error. As a one off the post equalizes things. Great touch from Masters as well to get up to this quickly.
Yeah, beautiful pass here from Masters to make everything possible. And then, with a little bit of help from the post, Sabine was managed to get the ball inside the net. And now we have a tie game with 2:45 left to play. And you can already see Newborn, they're not happy with this result. They are slowly applying more and more pressure. 2 whiffs, but luckily for Cardinals, Masters there to clear that ball. And now the ball in the air. Quick shot, Morrow gets the dunk, almost rolls in. Luckily, Ivers is back to deny that opportunity. 3 players needed, and it's still not in. And Cardinals are struggling yet to get in defense. And Morrow is just trying to keep the pressure here for this Newborn roster. And one thing that I definitely like about this Newborn roster is they don't send 2 or 3 players forward just to chase that ball. They're a little bit more relaxed. They send 1 player forward. They don't need all this chaos to go to their favor. They just send 1 player to do the work. The second and the third man, they will do the rest. And our mate is going up, looking for an opportunity, gets denied by Sabine on the backboard. And again, it's just Newborn applying all the pressure.
It's once more onto the 4 they go to attempt to put it in the blue net, get that lead back. And putting aside all the ideas of maybe inexperience or inconsistency that the Prospect division shows, I was at one moment starting to think the Cardinals were maybe colorblind, not shooting at the right color net. Sabine had one. I think Masters had one at one point, although a little more of a difficult thing when they went for the triple commit, and I think he just panicked and flipped and tried to do something with the ball and ended up being saved by a teammate. So some of these chances going either which way. Chaos is ensuing as a big demo. I think the first of the game, if I'm not mistaken. From Masters onto Mauro to try and open up that back post. Ivers with low boost can't chase this one down. Mauro happy to take it high and over Masters as the second man. Sabine commits early. Thankfully, he gets a touch. Doesn't allow Newborn space to work with. There's another big whiff. Maurice wasn't quite expected it, but he works in his favor as M87 the first time, thankfully, I've had to say his name, ends up being a goal for his team so late into the first. Great finish. Great speed.
was a bit of an awkward moment there for defense. The touches not all aligning like they wanted, and then obviously in that chaos, you'll see. I think I'm gonna join you in saying his name that way. M8A7 going for that challenge, and obviously he puts it in. And now immediately after kickoff happened, Maro is already trying to keep the pressure again. M8 all the way alone, but luckily for him, Maro is already behind him. Otherwise, it could have been a tie game with only 15 seconds left to play. Hivas tries to find his teammate on the wall, and he does. Quickshot by Masters will be denied. Hivas tries to keep the pressure. M8, not the best touch there. Hivas puts it on the backboard. Open net here. Masters puts it in. 2 seconds on the clock, and we have a tie game here.
Almost a buzzer beater, but all 3 players got fooled by that one. Straight into the backboard. All assuming that was going to be rifled at the back of the net. But it ends up being Masters to come around the bend, finish it off to tie the game at the death. And already we see an overtime between 5th and 2nd. We told you this was going to happen. There's no guarantee. Your position on the table, it doesn't change the fact that the game of Rocket League is insane. It's mental. Anything can happen as Hyvis looks for something in the sky, but it won't quite work. As Masters is left as the last man to deal with this, does so well, takes his time, gets the boost. And they know, in a golden goal situation, you have to be perfect. You have to make sure you're not giving such easy chances for your opponent as this one drops down as I'm saying it. As I'm saying it, Talish, the easiest of chances drops from Maro. A brace to end the overtime, and this just shouldn't happen, even in prospect.
And you just knew, Vector, the moment that ball wasn't touched by Masters, and you saw Maro going for it, that's going to be a goal. That is going to be that golden goal here in, that ended the overtime in game number 1. And I was already
like
almost chewing my fingers for, this shouldn't happen, even in prospect. Simple touches like that should be hit, and definitely should be able to just be cleared, or maybe make sure that one of your teammates is back, because stuff like that it's not meant to happen, but it happens. Newborn, they take game 1 in an overtime, and Cardinals, they fought so hard to bring it to that overtime, but in the end it wasn't enough.
As I said, chaos reigns. Just nonsense stuff can happen. I mean, it's always low-hanging fruit to say, oh, it's the prospect division, you know, they're the least good at the game, shall we say. I'm trying to think of a better word than good. Just like I said, experienced, less understanding of the game's mechanics and how exactly it's supposed to play it there in the lowest tier. And so mistakes like this can happen. And they're so much more punishing when the other team is aware of it and is waiting for it, even, you know, prepping to do that, making that happen. But in this case, it was just, I mean, it felt unfortunate anyway, but the last man, I already mentioned at one point that Sabid pushed up very heavily and it worked out, but in that instance, it didn't. All of them were over the midfield line and ended up going Newborn's way, but it was a lot closer than I think a lot of people maybe were expecting. And I think that it's going to go differently throughout the series. It's going to be a back and forth. We just to update you on why we're not already in the next game. We've requested a lobby reset, and we're happy to oblige to make sure that all the players are playing to their fullest, that they're not being put off by any sort of lag or, you know, whatever the case may be. It happens. Technical difficulties abound, but it was a great game either way, and I definitely don't think we've seen the best of Cardinals yet. There is still plenty to go, especially Masters was a standout for me. Some of his play, his patience especially, understanding when he needs to go for the ball and when he needs to sit back ever so slightly. I think it was him that got the equalizer that caused the overtime as well. So great performance from him, just needs to step up a little. His teammates just need to step up a little bit more, and then we could really have a series on our hands.
Yeah, and I definitely Masters doing a lot of work for Cardinals there. And obviously you have Maro doing a lot of work for Newborn, and I think we can keep talking a lot about the stuff that we saw happen in game 1, and that can happen in game 2, 3, and 4. But what I'm more curious about is what is your prediction actually for this series? Because I don't think we actually had the chance to talk about what we thought was going to happen here, yeah. And you know, I'm going to give it to you first.
Now.
What do you?
It's tainted now at the first game because. It's obvious, like people. we're just gonna say newborn. But I'll go first, so you can have the shocker one. I did think newborn were gonna take this on 3-1 before we got into the booth, just because of current form. Mainly for me, they're like I said, they've only had one loss this entire season. That consistency is very, very difficult, especially in a tier like Prospect, and they only drew their last series, so they're hungry for another win as they got last week. And against Cardinals, I don't know if complacency was going to set in as much as it did with Huldra last series against Azuchi, because they actually lost the first game. Huldra, newborn didn't, so I think they've still got that momentum coming in from the prior series. And Cardinals maybe took a bit more of a hit here, and especially with what we saw from that first game. As I said, it was tainted, but it proves my point in that there were a lot of double commits, a lot of mistakes that shouldn't have happened, and it could have easily been a much worse score in against Cardinals' favor as a result of those mistakes. But if they can cut that stuff out, can get the first game nerves, stream nerves off their backs, then we could really start to see a breakout performance here from Cardinals. But newborn aren't going to slow down whatsoever.
Yeah, and where you actually predict newborn to win this, I'm a little bit more of a shocker with prediction here. I actually think it's going to be a draw, a 2-2 here. I think definitely a number 5 team can have an upset result and should be able to take 2 series off, but not with a moment like this, where an infield pass happens from the wrong team to the wrong team, and then Ives not the best touches, M8, A7. He's just there, he's waiting for a ball, he puts it in. Newborn first on the board here after 32 seconds. And, even though my prediction is 2-2, and if Newborn win, I still have 2 chances to prove right, but also it only takes 1 chance to prove me wrong, so...
That's true, that's true. You're giving yourself a very good chance. What? Hold on a second, Ives. I mean, this isn't technically an aerial double tap because he's had to hit the ground again, but the fact that he managed to read it at that pace. Ives, the one that made the mistake that led to the opening goal. It wasn't even that big of a mistake. He attempted to clear, M87 just read it. But that, no mistake whatsoever. The first to read it, the only one to read it. And he's given a great equalizer to his team. And after that first game, I was honestly leaning towards more of a draw potential. I was starting to agree with you a little bit, Tavish, just because of how close it was. And yeah, shocker, I know. But because of that, and because of this equalizer, I'm even more, starting to be convinced even more that obviously they're making mistakes. Another triple commit here, it doesn't hurt them very much, but those mistakes creep in. They really start to stack up, and if Newborn can make sure they don't make too many of their own, which based on their league position, they're very good at not doing, then it honestly could go either way, and I'm struggling to see which side really has the most control here. It feels very 50-50.
Yeah, where in game 1 it was more of a Newborn controlled game, where just the ball was in the blue half for so many times, or so many minutes in a row, that it just felt like they were playing on one half of the pitch, even though there were 2 goals scored by Cardinals. This game is more just on both sides. Sometimes you see Cardinals in offense for a couple seconds, then you see Newborn in offense for a couple seconds, and there's a very strong midfield battle where the ball, you think it's going one way, it's going another way, but there a really close attempt for a shot by Masters after the infield pass from Ives, and a great save for him to deny the opportunity on his own net. And it's a back and forth game, and I think it's very difficult to call which one has the upper hand here in game number 2.
As the halfway mark hits, still more pressure from Newborn, but they've not been able to capitalize beyond that opening read from M87. It came from a touch of a Cardinals player. They haven't had much more since then. Plenty of shots, of course. 6 on the board for Newborn and only 3 for Cardinals, but it's a close game nonetheless. And this infield pass from Ives might work out in their favor. It might have been a fake out. Ives with the touch through the mid, he's got plenty of space, far too much, as M87 waits to try and get the touch away, but Masters is right there to bumping out, and it really confuses Maurice as that second man. He wants to commit to the ball, but he has to stop. He has to pump the brakes for that merest of moments which allows Hivers to come in through the line, out of the line of sight of Maurice, and take the lead. And it feels like it's against the run of play because Newborn have had most of the possession, most of the shots, but it doesn't matter. It's about efficacy. That's exactly what Cardinals are doing right now. They need to make sure they can control the mid a bit better and don't get penned in too much to their own half. They could really take a scalp here, even within the series, if not for the series as a whole.
Yeah, but one thing we should definitely keep in mind, that Game 1 was already really close, Game 2 could prove the same thing, but not like this, when Masters takes to the sky, and he just goes for
Not like this.
I think it was the air dribble attempt, but then it was more of a bump attempt straight afterwards. Maurice he had to rush back because he was he turned last man the moment one of his teammates committed, and then he was caught off just by whatever happened, and now 3-1 lead. Well, let me correct my words. 3-2 lead. Marrow, he just straight after kickoff realizes he has a very good opportunity. Everyone think he goes high, he goes low. Beautiful flick at the end. And 1:18 left to play, and it's only a 1-goal lead for Cardinals.
So simple, yet so effective. Make him think you're going for the hard hit. Then just tap it. Keep it under control. Wide open net, Marrow. More than happy to open his scoring in Game 2, and a big bouncer. Could have been awkward for Cardinals to deal with, but they shepherded away. Still in their corner, however, and the boost game isn't quite going in their favour. M8 looking for the air dribble, but it started pretty bad, so he couldn't make it that much better. Hybis with a whiff, but it might have faked out the midfield once again. Cardinals being unfortunately fortunate, if that makes sense, and that they're not getting their first touch, but the second man is ready and waiting to make up for it, as M8 is right there. Masters has to rotate back. Hivers and Sabina flat tired on the line. They managed to have enough boost to keep it away, and it's 30 seconds passes. Hivers could make it 4. It's going to bounce off the post. They had to navigate around that, slalom around the ball to make sure they didn't own goal and make this comeback impossible. They could be doing so again, as a weak touchdown to Masters is not capitalized upon by him. It's Maurice not able to get it past the second man, and Cardinals have done so well with this to keep it forward, make sure they've got someone keeping the counter away. This drops down awkwardly. Sabina's going to beat there, but Marrow beats. Last time it touches the ground, it will be a Cardinals victory on Forbidden Temple. And that's exactly how you want to make a comeback. Don't even need an overtime. Tavish, great play.
Yeah, they don't need an overtime this time. There's no 2-second equalizer. But one thing that definitely happened is Cardinals, the moment that they scored that first goal and realized they can score first, not first, tie up really fast within, I think, the first minute and a half. It just shows, like, okay, we conceded the first goal, but we bounced back. And then, obviously, 2 great goals straight afterward. They get that lead, and now they know, okay, in Game 1, it was close. We struggled a lot. Game 2, this is our game. We're going to dominate. They did. Newborn, they fought back in a beautiful moment after kickoff by Morrow to bring them back into this game. But time just wasn't on their side, and it wasn't enough in the end. One thing though, Cardinals, it was a lot of Hivers and Masters doing a lot of work. Sabine a little bit quiet in that game, hoping that we can see a little bit more of her in Game 3 and 4. Where she can really step to the plate and show, like, hey, my 2 teammates can do a lot of work, but I can do a lot as well. Because we saw her in Game 1, in Game 2 she was silent, but we still have 2 more games to go.
Yeah, despite the fact Sabine wasn't able to contribute all that much, they still won. Masters and Hivers doing well. I agree that in order to take the series, they will have to work as a unit. All 3 players will need to contribute more equally. But it's a good start, an inspiring comeback in that game, and I think they realised, as you mentioned, that Newborn not entirely able to, you know, compound upon what they already have. They're not a steam train. They can't just run you through. They got a good goal, but they couldn't get the second without reply, as this one just bounces in. Unfortunate here for the defender. Maurice with a big 50 opened up. Maybe the third man wasn't quite ready for it, but they missed the aerial anyway. Maybe Masters assumed Maurice was going to get another touch there and attempted to get between the ball and the net instead of just going for the ball itself, and it's made an awkward situation for Cardinals to deal with, but they've dealt with it before. Happened once on the last game. They conceded first, and as we've been going on about, they equalized. And they know that they can drag themselves back into it, kicking and screaming if necessary. As Mauro's probably screaming into his headset right now, demoed as the last man. And Masters right there to swoop in. And even quicker than the last game, they've managed to equalize. Cardinals really doing a number on Newborn right now.
Yeah, this is definitely a beautiful goal. Sabine realizes, okay, there's only one defender left. If I get a bump, it already helps. If I get a demo, it's even better. And now another great attempt. Master trying to follow up immediately afterward, but a little bit too difficult. But one thing that I find quite ironic actually is the goal that Maurice scored is exactly the same as the goal that Master scored on him in game number 2. Last man caught off guard, has to rush back, and the ball is just bouncing in, and there's no way you can save it. Master did it on Maurice, Maurice did it on Masters. They're evenly tied now. Maybe we see some more action like that, because it's definitely fun to see. And now Maro all the way to the other half. Wide goal. No, Masters back in time. Beautiful goal line save to deny the goal with 3:36 left to play. That was such a great opportunity for Newborn to take the lead here in game number 3. But Masters, the goal line hero for Cardinals, denies that opportunity and keeps them here in the game.
Mirrors, parallels, ties, goal line heroics have got it all here. In the RSC, in the Prospect Division. Masters with an outstanding performance tonight. Almost gave him the chance to take game 1 with his equalizer to get the overtime, but then didn't even need it. On game 2, pushed forward, made sure Cardinals held on. He's doing it again, huge demo to get them their equalizer, even more coming through. He's focusing on that play style and it's working wonders as he's going to rotate now. Sabine rotating through. Try and get that through the midfield touch. Hyvis plays it to the wall. Sabine with a demo of her own now. Hyvis can only find Maro, who's in a 1v1. Doesn't have the boost to follow up his own touch, but Maurice will be there to pick it up. Misses the boost. He's going to have to be patient as a result, but might fake out Sabine. Gets the 50 underneath. Masters misses at the back post. It might have actually been in their favour, as the midfield was left barren for Newborn. As now it just feels like a tennis match. The rally back and forth. Now the side wanting to commit too much, and that's completely understandable considering the way the rest of the series has been going.
Yeah, you said it perfectly there. It's just a tennis match. The ball's going from one side to the other side, sometimes high, sometimes low,
Say too
sometimes
often,
flat, sometimes
but it's
right.
very easy to describe the Rocket League game at times.
It's definitely true, and definitely in the prospect, it's sometimes a challenger as well. It's just tennis match is the best way to describe. But now, Maurice,
Deja vu.
open net. I don't know what happened here. I started to get a touch from the ceiling, but I don't know where the defense is at this point. Well, like maybe this room master is indeed behind him again. Maurice's second goal in this game, same thing as in as his previous goal, just a beautiful touch over the defense, and it bounces in. This time he can follow it up even better than the last time. And Newborn in the lead here in game number 3.
Not in the right half of the field as Cardinals get back to the corner. Sabine with a weak shot, not on target, but still dealt with by Maro. Hyvis tries to cut here to keep this chance alive, but it ends up just being laced down the field, and this should not go in. This was an easy save for Masters. Plenty of boost in the tank, just doesn't jump early enough. Maybe it's a little bit too quick. Did come off the crossbar, but it ends up going in off of him. And now a 2-goal lead for Newborn in the dying embers of game 3. Maurice misses that one. Masters is right there in time to pick it up. Makes up for his mistake prior. 2 goals for 2 shots. He's doing well on offense, maybe not as well on defense, but he's keeping them in this.
Yeah, and where I wanted to say this tennis match has become very one-sided. Master just denies me the opportunity to even out of the words before he just rips another goal into in the back of the red net. And so close for Maurice to actually say it's going to be 4-2, but he whiffs the ball in the end. Cardinals, they're going to be thanking their lucky stars that that goal didn't go in, otherwise it would have been even more difficult to come back, as we have entered the final minute. 4 minutes already come and gone, and now in these finals second, it is very important that they get it. Maurice, not a shot on target, but Sabine, beautiful save there to deny it. No defense back, Mass has to rush and double commits with Hivers to deny another shot on target. M8 is trying to keep the pressure here to even deny any opportunity for Cardinals to start their offensive into the red half. Hivers sacrificed himself to get a clear. Mass trying to follow up, but a little bit too late. Sabine now into midfield. Masters continues. Ball will come from the backboard. Masters going for the bump. Hivers for the shot. The combo is perfect, but sadly it doesn't work.
It goes all the way down the field to give Newborn their force. Sabine had to commit, you've got to say. The time was ticking. They needed a goal to at least get them the overtime, but the decision ended up hurting her and her team. There's a 2-goal lead, pretty much insurmountable at this point, unless they got a very, very good kickoff. And they just got to slow roll it to the wall. Even if they score, Newborn will take game 3 and the series lead. Both predictions still possible. I have to say that Newborn maybe didn't do as well as this scoreline suggests. I think it flattered them a little bit, especially considering the way that both of Maurice's goals went in and the way that M87's, I believe it was first goal went in. Yeah, because Master was responsible for the first and the third goal that Newborn scored because he couldn't get the touch off the bouncer. I don't know who was responsible for that goal. That Maurice, the second one, but it was just I guess a lack of rotation, a lack of understanding that they could very easily counter through the air. Maurice did it multiple times and just they never seemed to adapt. It left them wide open, and they obviously didn't create enough chances of their own. Newborns shot far more than Cardinals, and they just struggled to maintain any sort of momentum coming from the last game, especially with the way that they won it. So it was unfortunate to see, but I don't think it's over yet. I don't think it's done and dusted. I don't think Newborn take this in their stride. I think Cardinals will fight back, but Masters needs help. You've got to say, he was the bright spark for Cardinals in that game and throughout this series. He scored the only 2 goals they had, and he needs help. So we'll have to see who gets it. See if he gets it.
Yeah, and that's also the question, if he gets it. But Masters, we've been talking about Masters for this entire series, since he has been that outstanding player for Cardinals, to just keep the offense going, keep the flow going. And now Maurice into the air, trying to get a goal. It's immediately followed by Morrow, so close. And I think we've been mentioning Masters' name like continuously throughout every game. And what a pinch there from M8, just all the way into the other half. Newborn just don't want me to finish the sentence about Cardinals, so I think I'll just stop with that sentence. It's a bit beautiful save here. And Newborn, they're keeping the pressure. They're continuing where they left off in game number 3. And now just comes the question, can Cardinals come back here? Can they take a win here? Can they at least put up the fight like they did in game 1 and 2? Because in game 3 it wasn't enough.
The biggest mistake we casters can make, Tavish, is in assuming that we know what is going on. We start talking about something, it changes. Nothing is real. It's all smoke and mirrors for what we're seeing. It's pure chaos, and we're just trying to make sense of it. That's all that we're here for. There's an incredible looking shot from Masters, causes 2 defenders on Newborn to panic, to scramble, get it away. No follow-up though, does allow him to get back out on the break. Marrow try and pinch it across to M8, who has to peep it even higher as Maurice, who's whiffed a couple big chances in the last 2 games. Managed to get this one, but only through the corner. Marrow is there, Hivers was waiting, however, so no sweat off Cardinals' brow as they go all the way back up the field. But not much presence on the counter for Cardinals. They're having to rely on Newborn making these mistakes to break out. Another massive one from M8, but again, they're not ready. No one commits. Eventually they do, but it was from a weak clear. You've got to say that could have very easily been taken to the corner. And especially on defense for Cardinals, it's felt like they've had a static, statuesque type defense, and they sit back a little bit too much, like they're afraid of Newborn being right there, ready for it. But Masters gets a free goal there, and Cardinals open the scoring in the fourth and final.
Yeah, and for Maurice there, he didn't have to touch it like that. He could have taken it a little bit under control, like you said, into the corner maybe. And even the touch prior also could have been better. So it's a little bit of a panic attempt there by Newborn to get the ball away from their net. And then you described perfectly, free goal from Masters. He opens the scoreline here, but it might be tied. No, it will not. A beautiful demo by Hyvers will deny that opportunity. Now a shot by M8 will be denied by Sabine straight afterwards. And Newborn, two great opportunities to get a goal here, both shut down by Cardinals immediately afterwards. And I love the attempt there for the pass back from Hyvers to Sabine to keep the pressure going. And a lot of action there in that corner. The ball will not leave it. Masters even trying to keep it there as well. Hyvers now doing the same thing. Cardinals, they don't mind that ball in that corner. But now a little bit of an overcommit. Sabine too far forward. Also too far near that corner.
Maurice,
and now
again.
Maurice again. No, it's gonna be the same sentence. He gets the ball, he gets the shot, and he gets the goals where the third man is just overcommitting. And it's the fourth now in this entire series.
Yeah, he didn't even need to do the aerial that time. It was at the courtesy of Maro to put it to the mid. He did have to put a lot more power on it, to be fair, as he will for this one. But look at the spaces that are opening up. He gets beat there, but Sabine, there's no need to hit it through the corner. Just take control, dribble it around, make sure you keep the ball close, and don't give them that chance. Because if you're putting it into the mid, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be an opponent that's ready for it. As Maurice was there to pick up their brace. It's just far too easy for them to put these chances away when they're being gifted them. And it's maybe it's the nature of the fourth game. Cardinals, of course, the best they can do is draw. And maybe nerves are starting to set in. The mechanical integrity seems to be failing. I've seen a lot of backflips and just straight up whiffs in positions that they haven't been happening throughout the series. So maybe there's fatigue, maybe a culmination of multiple things, but the effect is that it's leaving Cardinals in some very difficult scenarios to deal with. They're managing to do so enough to keep it close, but they've had very little on offense themselves to speak of. Masters with the only goal, a couple shots, but they've rarely been threatening.
Yeah, it's definitely been Newborn has been the dominant one in this series so far, and not this series, this game. And now again they're looking for a goal. Morrow will get the goal. Final minute has entered, and it's a 3-1 lead for Newborn. And this one is just beautifully done by Morrow. He reached the touch Sabine was trying to make. Gets a little touch into the air, immediately follows up, and the defense was thinking, okay, Sabine can clear it. She couldn't. Morrow uses the chance, perfectly executed by him. And now 55 seconds left on the clock. Will we see another quick goal by Masters here, like he did in game number 3 and like he did in game number 1, where he is that person to tie it up for Cardinals, but it will prove very difficult as Newborn is just playing it too good here. They're being aggressive. They're just keeping the pressure. They're not holding back. And Cardinals, they don't know what to do. And now maybe an own goal. No, luckily the woodwork will help Cardinals there in the end.
That's high. No one commits early enough. I don't know why Masters didn't just go for that. Not assuming that it was going to be a miss off the backboard. But they had a clear counter. They have to get 2. It doesn't matter if Masters scores 1. They need 2 again. There's a double commit. Comes out. Sabine left as the third. Forced to go all the way back. Made pretty much impossible for Cardinals to have any chance. It felt like they made a rod for their own back with some of the decisions that were made. The rotation and positioning was just lackluster in that final game, which is a shame to say, because it's been pretty good throughout the rest of the series. They won a game, not massively convincingly. It was only by 1 goal on Forbidden Temple, and they struggled in game 3, but not necessarily because they were making a ton of mistakes. They obviously did for like Maurice's goals and one for M8, but it wasn't like obvious mistakes going through the midfield. They were just kind of getting a bit too reckless going up the field and not rotating back well enough, and it just seemed to be a breakdown of the fundamentals of knowing your position, knowing what you were meant to be doing on the field. And that could come down to, a lot of factors. Communication, as I said, the nerves on the stream of the potential lost of winning the series can really dampen people's spirits and the desire to play to win the next game. But especially for the position that all these players are in and their teams are in, you've got to fight for everything. There's 8 games, well, it's technically 12 games left for Cardinals, as this was their first match of the week. But 12 points is not a lot, especially when you're factoring in the rest of the teams around you. So you've got to be fighting for everything that you can. And it just seemed like they lost their fight towards the end of that series.
Yeah, and game 1 was already pretty close with that overtime, and in the end it was just an unlucky moment there. And I think you already described everything beautifully. By Cardinals, they had a lot of spirit, but in the end, it kind of faltered the moment we entered game 3 and then game 4. It just wasn't enough. They were relying only on one player, which was Masters, and he did a phenomenal job. But you can't carry in prospects alone. You can't carry in any tier alone. But prospects, where there are just a lot of whiffs and everything is chaotic, one player can't do it all. So that was kind of the downfall for Cardinals. And Newborn, they rose in the chaos, and they did it perfectly. And I hate to say it, but you got the correct prediction. I had of every stream I've done so far where I have been predicting, I've not been the correct one. So I guess I have to say congratulations, Vector.
Thank you. You took it. You sort of good and horrible, because I was like, oh boy, I did the prediction. I was right, Tosh. You took it away from me. You wanted to say it first, and yes, I was correct. It's the first time tonight. I was wrong in the first one, so I had to get something out of this. But as happy as I am about being correct in the prediction, disheartening for Cardinals in their bid to try and get further up the table, as I believe that does put them still below Hot Metal for the time being. Only by a game, of course, at 32 points. And they still do have a match, as do Hot Metal themselves. But Newborn up into first with that result at 43 wins. Limousine at 40. So they put pressure on their Ox Gaming rivals at the top of the table there. And I'm expecting it to be more of a difficult affair for them. I think they've got Alta next in their next match, their second of the week. So if they don't do well there, then they might really start to sweat in that final week, when we always say it, the games are crucial, but it is unbelievable how important every single game is in that final week. And I really can't wait to see how things shake out. But that has been it for tonight for the RSC, from myself and Tavish, of course, Source in the background. Merits and Tom Dillon and Morris, I believe, are the first casters for the first series. So thank you so much to them, to everyone for watching, yourself as well, Tavish. So good to be back in the booth with you every single time we do it. It is an entertaining affair, and I can't wait for the next time.
Yeah, and I agree with you there. It's definitely been a pleasure again, Vector, to cast. And Prospect, maybe next time we get Premier, maybe we get Prospect again, who knows.
Maybe.
And it was definitely a blast. And I agree with you. We're signing off here at RSC, but don't you worry, we'll be back rather soon, and I think tomorrow already with another stream. So
I think
we'll
Sunday
see you
is the
tomorrow.
next league stream. I might be wrong.
Sunday.
Maybe Tavish is right, or I'm wrong, or he's wrong. It doesn't matter. All right, we'll be back. We'll be back this week. Don't you worry. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to all our sponsors, of course, for keeping us going, keeping the lights on, and making this league as amazing as it is. Thank you for all of you for watching. We'll be back very soon with some more RSC action.
I'm the storm that beats the moon.
till I break, no. But baby, will you call again? I've been broken ever since you left. Swear you stole my heart, baby, no theft. You made my life a mess. But you're still the best, yeah. You're still in my head, yeah. And this is life or death, yeah. You're the owner of the heart in my chest, yeah. And I need you.